band in. Woo! Well, alright. Yeah, they want me to fit in, but I can't. I'm too different with it. Too advanced to think, you know my intuition. I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gon' sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best, you get it. What you're seeing is a beast in the flesh, I'm vetted up. I don't need to try, speak for the rest. Always keep it abrupt, they wanna keep it a mess, you know. This is what you get when you're sitting as a vet. But everybody know that you're a threat. With the rest, let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Look, I try to tell you we don't fit in your box. Why you try to box me in? I got the key to unlock. I know the locksmith, optics, speak of the loss. I'm eating lobster, chopsticks, freaking the boss, you know. I'll never fit in where I go at. Boss talk like I'm Boaz. Why fit in when you know you can stand out still? They remember you more when you hand out deals. Let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Don't box me in, I do my own thing, spirit is right within. I got my own way, violent is not within. Look at the way that I do my ops again, better let me loose, you know that I got the juice, everything I got to do, words that I speak out my mouth, I gotta move, we can't fit in your box, we're too cold and you know. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Son of Augustine. Let's go. Bring the band in. Woo. Well, all right. Yeah, they want me to fit in, but I can't. I'm too different with it. Too advanced to think. You know my intuition. I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gonna sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best. You get it? What you're seeing is a beast in the flesh. I'm vetted up.
It's PMCO Sunday here today as we get ready to crown our champions of PMCO Europe 2023 here on day 3 of our grand finals, and we're going to have a lot of great matches to unfold. But of course, DK is going to be here with me once again because we got so many good games. He can't leave. He has to stay with us. He's locked in. How are you doing, DK?
Pretty excited to see exactly how today is going to unfold. Of course, the past 2 days absolutely on fire with how these teams have been bringing the heat onto that battlefield, so I cannot wait. And yourself?
I cannot wait to, and also cannot wait to go follow all the social media here. I was going to call you Kalaris for some reason, but no, it's DK. It's DK. Hasn't changed names just yet. But PUBG Mobile Europe and PUBG Mobile Esports Europe, all the social stuff, it's gone, but it was there. Just go back a few seconds if you want to, and you can go and stay tuned with everything that's related to the European region for PUBG Mobile Esports. But DK, as you said, it's today. It's PMCO Sunday. We're going to crown our champions at the end of today in the next 4 matches now. So we're going to see, but of course, as we know, DK, all fighting for a nice line share portion of that prize pool.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite a bit of a fight that we are going to be looking at here. Of course, they are going to be clawing their way to potentially the tippity top, which is going to be worth $6,000, making its way all the way down to 300, whoever ends in that 13th to 16th position.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are some teams that are struggling to move away from that bottom spot. But you know what? If you get out of that 13th position, you're getting some increase in prize pool, which is always good. So even if you're at the very bottom of the rankings, don't give up just yet. There's still a chance for you to rank up a little bit higher at the end of today's 4 matches. But let's go and look at the leaderboards here to see exactly what we're working with today as we enter in our final day of play, DK. And Eagle Esports, they were first after day 1. They were still first after yesterday's matches. And their consistency is just so scary if you're any of the other squads heading into this final day.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to fault the approach that we've seen come through from Team Eagles. As we know, yesterday we didn't see a winner chicken dinner come through, but they still packed in a heavy, excessive punch, coming through with 26 eliminations, culminating in 35 total points for the day itself. So, I mean, a lot of that contribution also came in closer towards the end of the day, where we did see Eagles, of course, performing much stronger as we started to progress on through. Of course, they finished with 14 points in the last match of the day. So I'm curious to see what the approach is and the response is going to be from the rest of the teams. We can see there is quite a bit of a gap, but I'm still looking at quite a bit of movement, especially from 3rd place downwards.
Yeah, and then like in Nexus fashion here, DK, we see that they can in fact get themselves some placement points, but they do this pretty much every tournament where they get just a ton of eliminations. They get one really good chicken dinner with 10 placement points, of course. And then for the rest of the tournament, we're not going to see a podium finish. So because right now, outside of that one chicken dinner, DK, they never even got really close to a podium position. They've just been fragging out heavily throughout these matches. Though, we're talking about the heavy hitters, of course, Eagle Esports, Nexus Gaming. In 3rd position, I would say Bunny Esport, for me, DK, personally, has been a big surprise in how they've been consistently aggressive and been able to, sure, maybe not wrap up games, but at least staying relevant in this conversation thanks to that consistency.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely been able to hop up the board, right? Back in day number 1. We did also still see them situated, you know, within that 4th position, but they were able to really strengthen that play across the procession of yesterday. So I think they're definitely going to be a team to look forward to see whether or not they can contest with Nexus, get themselves situated a little bit further up the board, because based on the basing they've been bringing in, I would not be surprised if they do that.
Yep, and Vengeance also in that 8th position, currently a bit topsy-turvy. They started off with a 14th place, then a chicken dinner with 8 eliminations on that Miramar, a really solid game, fair to say, DK. Then the podium finish with 3 eliminations, and then 15th place. So, as I said, a little bit topsy-turvy, a little bit of a roller coaster for Vengeance. If they can find consistency, who knows, maybe a top 3 position would be in the runnings for Vengeance. But as we head on over to the second page, this is where we need to see significant changes, DK, because Mumia Esports, sure, opened up the show in style with that chicken dinner 10 eliminations on game 1 of day 1. Outside of that one strong performance, they've been a little bit more silent in recent times.
Yeah, I mean, they have been a little bit on the quiet end, if one could say that. They had a good start on day 1, moving into the latter part of day 1, also going through day 2, things started to look a little bit more on the challenging end for them. So it is a little bit unpleasing, right, to see something like that. I know unpleasing is not really a word or
Unpleasant,
whatever.
but yeah.
Yes,
hey, we create our own lexicon, okay?
Yes,
it's the PUBG
yes.
Mobile Esports lexicon.
But another team that had a similar kind of fate lined up for them going through day 2 was God's Ultimate, right? They had a phenomenal start in the first day, coming in with those 3 top 4 positions, but as we've seen yesterday, it proved to be quite a bit of a challenging day.
Are we going to see God's Ultimate hot drop TPS again over in Pachinki? I wonder. I mean, I said it yesterday. I don't want to see it happening today, but it might just happen. The Epsilon Axe, sure, only 12 placement points, but 10 of those came from that one chicken dinner that they did wrap up yesterday with. And I do wonder, DK, is that going to build a little bit of momentum and confidence for this team? Because we saw back in the last chance days, this team has a lot of potential. Especially, I mentioned this player a lot of times, Tornado in particular, is a standout individual player in my eyes for this roster. So I hope we can see a little bit of a bigger comeback today, because as I said for Epsilon Axe, I want to see in the bad games, how will they perform? And if they can build some semblance of consistency, this is a team that could hopefully be on the first page.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, that winner chicken dinner that they got in the last game, that was worth 4 slots. That was the amount of jump that they were able to gain just in that one particular play. So there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of capabilities also coming through, because there's not really that much points currently separating the teams. Yes, there's a 26-point gap between that first and second place. But aside from that, it's essentially just single digits. So a strong application coming into today, I think, could definitely change up a team's position with regards to these standings.
Yeah, and I do hear that we're going to get ready here for our game very, very soon. So you better be ready, because we are going to be getting some good old action here happening on the grassy pastures. As always, we're going to kick off the day with Erangel and end it with Erangel, which right now there are some teams that are standout teams when it comes to that battleground, especially, we have to say it, DK, and this is why it's very scary. Eagle Esports are really good when it comes to executing the overall strategy and game plan on this battleground, and because you have it twice a day compared to your Miramar and Sanhok, that instantly gives them a significant advantage in the long run of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you look at the performances, the results they've been able to bring in on Erangel, right? Day 1, they had 2 top 3 finishes. They took the chicken dinner, of course, on that last game. Moving into day 2, the start wasn't all that easy, but they definitely patched it up moving into those following games. So I think Eagles, they definitely got to be a team to contest here, especially on our first Erangel.
Yeah, and currently the only team with 2 chicken dinners in these grand finals, DK, which does have quite a bit of weight behind it, because that means if there's a tiebreaker, those chicken dinners are going to be taken into the equation. And here you go, as you can see, the plane path is already high up in the sky for these teams to drop. And it's actually, I would say, DK, one of the better plane paths we've had so far this tournament. So it's going to be nice and central with a little bit of a nice axis towards the eastern edge of Yasnaya Polyana, so some teams will be able to get themselves to their location. And even if you're a little bit too far, you can pick up a car and get to that POI. No problem whatsoever. Though I am looking at Pachinki. TPS will drop in, and I do think I see a little bit of a darker color behind them, which does make me think that we might be having a hot drop, or are they giving up on it? They're not going there. Have my dreams been listened to? I don't know how I wanted to finish that sentence. I'm just so shocked, DK. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, I mean, it does definitely seem to be that way, because God's Ultimate, they've taken a completely different approach to getting themselves situated. TPS also then essentially kind of abandoning Pachinki here, and I'm curious to see exactly how they're going to be looking to proceed moving into this northwestern zone. But I would say the answer is yes, right? The teams heard us, or heard you rather, but maybe not Rush and Mumia, because now they've gone for a little bit of contention up in Georgia Pool.
They're like, oh, we heard this Maxman guy talking about stopping the hot drop. We don't want him to curse us, so we're just going to avoid him having to talk about us. That's going to be the strat. No, Mumia did go for a southern drop in George Bowl, same with Rush, so there's going to be a little bit of back and forth. Can he actually get himself one little bit of swerve left and right for Mumia? They do get out of range. I mean, with a BP Bison, especially he's only got 5 bullets. He's going to spray them, because why not, DK? Never know. Might get one nice little cheeky connection at the end. But Maniac does take a severe beating after that one. But they get to Northern George Bowl. They will get the loot. They will be able to heal up. So all is good in Hood. Not good for Ketsu, though, DK, as he's going to be taking a 1v1 against a Super Saiyan. It's Gohan on the other side.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting play here, especially now for Scriptzone, because we've seen them trying to pick up the pacing. Hopefully, day 3 is going to be the day in which we see them now follow through. But Gohan being a little bit emboldened here, coming through with a crossbow. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that especially in PMPLs, right? When we head over into Vikendi or whatever the bonus map is of the, the league itself. But this is the actual first time that I've seen a crossbow being yielded.
I don't think he wants to try and use it when you have 3 players of Skip Zone on your location, DK. Maybe not the best clutch kind of weapon. I would like to see a 1v4 clutch with a crossbow, but doesn't quite seem like that's how it works in PUBG Mobile Esports, unfortunately. Epsilon Axe, though, I'm surprised they actually want to take this fight. I really thought they were going to get the buggy and just get out as a 2-man, but no, they want to take that engagement. It's a little bit of damage, but unfortunately, 2 sprays back-to-back, that's going to be enough for Skip Zone to get the opening knock. Now they're going to send everything they have in their arsenal against Gohan. And he's going to have to go Ultra Instinct if he wants to fight that one. But unfortunately, it's too early in the season. It doesn't quite work out. And Epsilon Axe, again, DK, as I said, taking a fight just doesn't make sense. They had the buggy. The escape route would have been the smarter play.
Yeah, that is a very, very surprising decision that they've made there. And as we've seen, obviously, it has cost them quite dearly. But now it's down to how the rest of Epsilon Axe are going to be looking to play their way through here. They've, of course, now been reduced to only half a team. And, I mean, Tornado is very capable, but this might be looking to be a little bit hopeful here.
Is he that capable to, with his teammate, go 2v60? I'm not quite sure if that's going to be really going the way he thinks. But yeah, we keep saying it, DK. I know I sound like a broken record by now, but it really is these early game fights. If you can dodge them, better to do so. And the thing is now, Skip Zone, they've got that taste of blood in their mouth. They're like a shark in the water. And they're like, okay, well, we just got already 2 eliminations. We're nicely looted up right now, really. We can just chase down Epsilon Axe, just trying to scrap for pieces here. We're going to push onto Furia and also onto Tornado, which you normally say try and weather the storm. This is going to be a very easy storm to weather. I think so. They should be able to take that fight pretty easily, but Epsilon just trying to escape. So I'm not sure if Skip Zone, with all of their looted up resources, are going to really try and go for those 2 eliminations. It's not even in the circle, so the clock is ticking. Not quite worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a, I think, an unnecessary situation to work their way through. The best would be to aim for position further in towards the zone. Now would be a good time to prioritize that play, especially see how far away the zone is. I think if this was much closer towards the zone, there could maybe be a little bit of a, sensibility in that kind of approach. But yeah. I think this being so far away, yeah, maybe get yourself situated as opposed to hiding out far away with the Blues on the approach.
And I'm happy we transitioned to looking at Nexus, because let's not forget the Nexus usually do this drop, DK, of mill to power and mini mill to power, where they can have themselves that nice 2-2 or even a 2-1-1 split. If Epsilon keep trying to leave this fight over to the east, they might have a bit of a clash back and forth with Nexus, so they're going to be sandwiched up, it seems. Not the best situation to be in. So we'll see if Epsilon Axe can try and just survive that sandwich kind of situation. But the blue zone is going to engulf them, which is going to make them have to use resources, so they just got to also keep that in mind, it seems. So far, though, outside of that early bit of a clash we had with Epsilon Axe, not much is going to happen, though we did see the circle shift northwest here, DK. I am looking at Everest, and I do wonder if we're going to see some teams go there just to have the best scouting position on this map. I think that would be a good early call to go for.
Yeah, I think aside from Everest, Cube could also be an interesting position to try
Oh
and play,
yeah.
especially looking at how the zone is situated. I mean, it's going to provide good accessibility to teams trying to make their transition coming through from the north, potentially also, encroaching on that center zone, but also then a little bit of Overwatch to see what's happening over Everest.
Yeah, you got me before I even said it, DK. I was going to mention Cube right after, but you got me to it. You beat me to the punch because it is, in fact, in this circle, the best location. It's very open around it, so not easy to breach. And it, as you already stated, facilitates rotations not only north, but also if the circle has a hard shift south, you can also make that transition very, very quickly and maybe go to Everest afterwards. So there's just a lot of really solid options available for them. But TPES are going to be having their own encounter with Vengeance. And Burke is just going to try and speed his way forward with that supercar. Not quite sure which one it is. Is that the Aston Martin? But I'm not sure. I'm really bad with supercars, GK. I take the train, okay? that's what I do. But Vengeance here, still looking to maybe get a cheeky knock here and there. But TPS are just too fast. They're too speedy.
I mean, sometimes too fast, too speedy is a good thing, right? When it comes to PUBG, trying to get yourself situated. And of course, now approaching the zone, I think Berg could definitely find themselves in quite a good positioning here, especially looking at the fact that the school apartment is vacant, so there's no one that is going to be adding even more smoke, potentially even flames onto this vehicle. So TPS, successful rotation, at least for the time being. But yeah, they're going to have to find a spot. I'm maybe looking over towards Rozok. Ooh, I think they might be looking to contest Bunny.
They could be trying to do so. I mean, Bunny are very proficient at playing this kind of terrain, DK. We've seen it especially on day one of our grand finals, that they know this terrain like the back of their hand. They are very, very good at understanding which positions give them the best kind of vantage point, and they're going to be using it to their full potential. Though a lot of teams still lingering out in the blue, and okay, well, we've seen this circle quite a bit again. This is pretty much the third time we have a circle around here. It's not quite the exact same, but
Yeah.
it is in a similar kind of vein as what we saw on day one on our 2 Erangel games. As now teams are going to start to rush, and we talked about God's Ultimate, right, playing Cube. Easily from this position, they could full send it into a central spot if they really want to, because there's pretty much no way it's going to head south unless you have a bunch of hard shifts. So that could be a really good early play to go for to get to those early POIs.
Yeah, I mean, hard shifts could bring in a few hard ships with them as well, so
Hard
teams
skips.
have to be a little bit proactive. Yeah, proactive. I was also thinking of like team, script zone to see whether or not they are going to be in script shape, right? Tip-top shape. Yeah.
Squip,
But
shape.
I was like, nah, that's just too many of those. But whatever.
Booted
It is what it is. Yeah, I tried. It didn't work. But now I can tick it off, and I know to disregard that one in future. Speaking of disregard, I'm curious to see how Klaus and Vengeance, well, Kazama and Vengeance are going to be looking to play this positioning here, as both teams find themselves very well positioned, quite deep into the blue. And I mean, we've established this before, right? Blue zone, blue juice, it's nice. But again, you don't want too much of it.
I swear, man, casting with you, it's always just me waiting for the weirdest segues. And how are you going to make them work? It's like, talking about disregard, look about this team. I'm like, but what about disregard? you didn't mention anything about disregard. Oh no.
Yeah.
You just mentioned the team name. Oh, it's like...
Ooh. We got Cube in play.
Oh my god, I'm having a fun time here. But yeah, Cube is not having a fun time though. He's going to be a little bit rattled. But we mentioned it already, DK. It's a strong position. It's hard to breach. And 4 Minion boys were not even given a living chance to, well, live through that breach. And that's 3 easy eliminations to God's Ultimate. I mean, what else do you want more than living proof or dying proof that this is good?
Yeah, I mean, you can't falter the approach coming through here from God's Ultimate. That compound is what it is, but now it's going to be up to the rest of the teams, especially still taking an approach coming through from the southern side, to find a good way to get themselves across, potentially over on towards that northern edge of the map. And I think especially looking at those available bridges, we've got that central one, which Rush has taken occupancy of and possession of. The opposite end is locked in by God's Ultimate, and then of course the western bridge, Mumia, they're on guard. So yeah, Scripts they're going to have a pretty tough time finding a way to get themselves situated here.
I'm really interested in how Skip Zone are going to be playing the entirety of this game. It seems like Exotic Alliance up north are expecting the exact same circle that we've had on day one. Like, oh, we just know it's going to go up there. And Okay, can we please stop getting this exact same? This is the third time, DK. We have 6 Serangles total in the grand finals. 3 of those are pretty much the exact same circle. Teams are going to get bored out of their bloody minds at this point. But you got to play it out. We'll see how things are going to be wrapping up for these teams. But Exotic Alliance seemed like the gamble worked out.
Yeah, I mean, well, if it ain't broke, right? Just
If
keep
it,
playing
if
the
it
same
is,
zone.
it is broke though. Come on. We're not still trying to like be around the bush, okay? I want different circles, please.
There we go. Yeah, you know, let's shake it up. Let the teams maybe focus on. I mean, this is good though on getting the teams to focus on consistency because the zone pretty dang consistent with where it chooses to go. Why? We don't exactly know. It is just what it is at this point in time. But I'm curious to see what Nexus's approach is going to be because the teams have had so many different attempts at playing this exact positioning.
Yeah, but some teams are going to just try and go for the same playstyle that rewarded them so heavily in the past. I'm looking especially at Eagle Esports. Look at this position. They're like, oh, we remember this position was really good. We had to breach it last time to win the game. How about we just go there first? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Pretty good. Fair enough for these guys. I mean, Big Baby, I'm already looking at them. Usually, if a team is going to breach Eagles' position, is going to be a team entering from the eastern edge. So Big Baby versus Eagles might be a fight that breaks out later. But you mentioned Bunny earlier, right, DK? And in this exact circle, we know how good they are playing this exact spot, this exact high ground position. I'm also expecting a pretty decent elimination match from the boys.
Yeah, that is just kind of to be expected, and well, we are gonna look to see whether or not they can live up to the expectations. Speaking about expectations, though, Nexus gonna come through with an attempt at aggression. Unfortunately, it is gonna be Kazama who is able to evade the plays, but Preeti is gonna be sitting here nice and pretty, just on the low ground. A little bit of an ambush being set up there. But Nexus, they're not going to fall for it. Instead, they are going to be prioritizing their position a little bit more towards that southern side.
I'm still looking at Epsilon Axe with Fury and Tornado, not quite in the well, not quite in a circle, not at all in a circle. They're towards Everest right now, which goes to say they're actually nowhere close. So we'll see if they can try and just snake their way into this game. As Vengeance, just going for the wide rotations, going to be caught up mid-rotating the southern edge here against this nice little bit of a split setup from God's Ultimate. So really, I mean, there's no way they're going to survive this one. One nade will be huge. He's got himself 4 nades, 1 Molotov. I mean, this is looking like the end of those 2 players of Vengeance. Leon, pretty decent one. Does get some damage. Does get the knockdown onto Andres. It's only Aka and Marin left alive. And Nexus might want to go for a cheeky third party here, DK. This is a great opportunity to get a ton of early game eliminations and clear space on the south.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity is definitely there. Looking at how Nexus are approaching this, they are starting to encircle. You can see them quite eager to get their hands on a bit of a successful run when it comes to Erangel. I mean, we did see them secure that winner chicken dinner yesterday on Sanok, so there is a bit of an opportunity. Not that the zone really resembles what we've seen come through on Sanok. I think if it was maybe something a little bit elsewhere into a more mountainous region, there could have been quite a bit of hope there. But now it is going to be God's Ultimate trying to step it up as they come pushing forward onto the side. You have Epsilon. But Epsilon, I mean, they still have essentially only their 2 players left. And they are going to look to contest against Leon here. But God's Ultimate, they don't seem to be all too interested in this compound.
Very lucky for Epsilon Axe to be able to find his position actually open. So they're going to be able to play it out a little bit. Normally they should be able to get the res, I believe. But God's Ultimate don't want to let their backs open to potential threat later on down the line. They want to clear this fight. Blue's got some nades coming out. Not going to connect. He does get himself the res, but oh, that's actually a really good molly. Just a little bit too late, but could have been such a really strong attempt. And now it's all about chucking that utility. And what a nade from Rogo from downtown. That's it for Epsilon Axe, eliminated right out of the gates. And now the circle again shifts up north, and we have the exact same circle. I was like, oh, it's going to go south or something, DK. I was kind of on a high dosage of copium, but no. It's the exact same circle once more. But Rush, already on 7 elims. That's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're getting trolled here, Max. I definitely think you are getting trolled. But meanwhile, ooh, T-Pest, though. Just fending off the advances coming through here from RKG. Mentana gonna be looking to maybe play a bit of a jump shot. Oh, the nade though getting cooked
Oh!
up. Oh!
How did he dodge that? God. Okay. Well, you're lucky, Matana, right there. Well, unlucky, should I say, that T-Best doesn't quite get the knock. The thing is, that position is just so tough. This is good because in the past, DK, we remember T-Best would usually win these fights with BRX also against Rush, but this time they kind of learn from those past mistakes. They don't want to go inside the cavern. They want to play outside of it so they can just apply absolutely full 100% pressure on this squad. So good change of plan from Rush. I am liking what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit of a change up in that pacing. But Rush definitely going to be looking to get themselves a little bit of a secure point at least established. You can see Shroom will be taking a little bit of a disengage. Doran, though, is going to be trying to capitalize as Nexus continue to prowl, looking for those eliminations. So far, they found 3. Are they going to be able to get even more? But, of course, Leon is going to try and just welcome them into the... What the wibble wobble was that?
I should... It's fine. It happens. just ignore it. It's okay. But... yeah, currently Leon in that position. I mean, the thing is, those windows are making it so tough because if a team comes also from the northern side, which right now might be the case with Rush, they might be peeking in that little shed, he's going to get instantly taken down. So Nexus, on the transition, go towards Crash Site, which is good as long as the team doesn't get too close. Otherwise, it would be just a nade heaven for the opposing squad. So yeah, just apply pressure, eliminate as many teams as possible from this position, which is really good to defend. And then wait for this next circle pop. That is going to be coming up in just a few seconds time. About 30 seconds, actually, is going to start closing. And then we'll have the next shift. But Nexus already starting to initiate their bloodbath, DK. They want, again, to be the sole kings on the south.
Well, you can't really blame them. They're definitely trying to build up quite a bit of momentum here. Of course, as we know, they need at least 26 points in today's few games to see if they can catch up to the lead being held by Eagles. Meanwhile, Rush now going to be feeling quite a bit of a sting as the players there from Exotic Alliance are reaching all the way across, all the way back from that northwestern front. And looking at the trade, no surprise really, because, I mean, either edges of this map is elevated, and here comes the play now as Rush will need to try and defend against the onslaught.
But this is such a good ridge line to play too. You just got to be careful because your backs are shown to some individual solos behind them, but if they can chuck some great nades onto Rush, they could get access to a strong position to transition from. They don't want to hold it, DK, clearly, I'd say. They just want to clear this team and make that transition downhill from this position. That would be the best play. Though there's a bit of a trade back and forth, one-on-one so far. But they should be able to get themselves the res. Though I am looking at that one solo player of Vengeance here, Aka, DK. Once those smokes dissipate, that's going to be a bit tough for Exotic Alliance. They might have to fully commit to this fight if they want to avoid losing players for free. Yep,
they're going to have to get up close and very, very personal. But a great utilization coming through here as Mentana rather, comes through with a bit of a pop. Now this is the opening opportunity. Let's see whether or not Exotic Alliance can potentially now get themselves back on their feet. Rush definitely doubling down with the aggression here.
This is the Matana I know and love, DK. This is what I've been waiting for from Rush. A strong fight like this. Poker is also up to 3 eliminations. Shoom could normally get rezzed up. Oh no, there you go. Nexus get involved in the elimination feed. And sure, they're going to have to transition, but if they can get so many more knocks onto Rush and maybe even Exotic Alliance, this could be a third-party opportunity, DK. Like, they are wounded. They are hurting right now. And Nexus might be looking at a chance to get full control of not only the southern edge, but also the western edge of the circle. So Nexus currently looking to go the entire way. They are clearly looking for that chicken dinner opportunity for another time.
I think this is such a tough position here, Max, because Rush, they feel Nexus applying a little bit of pressure, aside from Exotic Alliance on the opposite end. Great utilities coming through, though, but we still see a guy also trying to poke and prod at the engagement. Currently unfolding, but look at this from Hitana!
Come on, 1, 2. Oh, it doesn't quite get the third. Nice attempt, but 12 is going to be having to take himself a solo. One-on-one fight versus Poker. The spray down connects, and with the Scar, he clears the West. He clears the fight. And he opens up an opportunity for his team to redeem themselves and get themselves that chicken dinner. But they have to go for the res first. What a fight from Exotic Alliance.
Wow, absolutely amazing, amazing pacing there. But now, we are going to shift gear over on towards that eastern side. It is going to be the players here from Team LP and Big Baby finding themselves in a bit of a standoff.
Nexus circle.
Zord also going to be shifting up, and this is Nexus now sitting with prime real estate.
Hell yeah, this is the Nexus that we like to see. They actually are going to get placement points, DK. Is it Christmas early? It seems like it for the Romanian squad. But Team Alpi, a little bit of a 2-2 split. Big Baby, not sure if they are aware of Big Baby's location, though. I think they might have heard the cars for them to get to this location. I'm not seeing too many people looking their way, and that's it. Ramon strikes. Gets the first initiation onto Team Alpi as they attempt to regroup. And off the back of that, sure, they got this little plateau, which is a safe haven for them right now. But the moment that Nexus want to get that squad wipe, they can play that little bit of elevated ground and get complete oversight onto Team Alpi. Nexus, I mean, I don't know how you beat Nexus going uphill against their position, against the amount of vision and information they have, DK. Ooh, that would be a massive upset if Nexus can't at least get a podium finish.
Yeah, I mean, one would expect them to really flourish in the situation. They've got the positioning such a wide spread as well, and they are going to be in the position to contest here. But now, Eagles, starting with their approach, coming on forward, we do see Deno feeling the heat come in there as they will get wrapped up. That is the end of BRX, but now T-Pez also rushing forward.
Yeah, T-Pez going to be having to look for their fight. Unfortunately, did lose 2 players earlier to the hands of Rush. They have to hold down the fort, hold down the shed. They do get 1 player knocked, but Eagle Esports on the transition, on the pivot, do get picked away by the side of Exotic Alliance. 12, again, keeping the hopes alive as they're just looking to obliterate team after team after team. Here goes Berg. Can he take himself to fight? But no, Maximo is there, rises up, and will be keeping Eagles in the race. But for how long? As actually Exotic Alliance get picked away, DK. They are solo up north now. They could technically transition from fight after fight and play that ridge where Bunny are if they can get that knock.
I mean, this is exactly the kind of turnaround that we were hoping to see coming into day number 3. And of course, with that, we are down to our final remaining few teams. Eagle, as we can see also top of the screen, just hitting that century with regards to their points. So there is still an opportunity for them. If they manage the numbers, if they manage the pressure starting to build, it could be a little bit of hope for an even stronger finish. But first up, we're going to have to see what is going to come through between Big Baby and Team Alpi. Team Alpi definitely not going to be looking to stop anytime soon, but Exo, though, is going to find Maximo.
I do think for Nexus, though, if I have to bring the conversation back to them, a 2-2 split might be a little bit better. If Kapahala gets knocked, they're losing a very valuable off angle, which does scare me a little bit for them. But Doran also, man, Doran is going wide. They got, look at that, with that split actually from Doran now, they're controlling 50% plus of this circle. That is a mental split, but from how aggressive they are, seem like they're not going to get punished for it. Striker just alive in some way, shape, or form, but no, he does get sent right back to the lobby with that car explosion from Exo. And now they're looking for the double-digit, the trial-untested double-digit elimination game again here, DK, for Nexus, is happening with Team Alpi, I would say, the only team that could contest that chicken dinner away.
And it's going to be a tough play because, as you've said already, Nexus looking so dominating, and they are pushing further and further across. Now they have full control of the zone itself.
Okay, easy.
Yep, this is up to LP. Are they going to be able to make anything happen here? Because looking at Nexus, I think they've got this one in the bag.
Yeah. The only way you could get is maybe get an elimination onto Doran or Kapahala and then put the focus onto Exo in the middle of the map with Redox. That could be a strat, but right now, they've got a ton of ammo still. They're just going to keep the pressure on and on. Tier 3 helmet 2. Oh, actually, he's almost out of ammo on the M4. Ooh, he's going to have a bit of a tougher time, but the nade connects from Redox right from downtown, right behind that tree. And that's the opening knock they were looking for, DK. They're looking to take the 4v2 now. Going to fight for Sandrick, and Sandrick can't even do anything in that position. That's it, looking for the final play of Team Alpi. And this should be another Nexus Gaming winner chicken dinner, counting up to number 2.
I mean, Nexus really starting to pick up momentum, pick up that basing, and it seems like they've now been able to, aside from just the aggression, also now bring in that strategy and utilize the living heck out of their positioning. What a phenomenal performance this was coming through from them.
Oh, yeah, they used the living heck out of their rotation, DK. I cannot say it any better. It's perfect wording. But the way they rotated in the Southern Edge, too, we have to mention, playing especially Crash Site, they know it's not a good long-term option for them because it's on the edge of the circle. It's not going to come their way. But while they are in that location, DK, they are hurting as many players, as many teams as they humanly can do and achieve so that they can then transition pretty smoothly from that position onwards. So great stuff on Nexus. Really loving what we've seen on yesterday's Sanok match. And I feel like that was kind of the wake-up call for them, DK, that Sanok winner chicken dinner from yesterday. Though, Rush team becoming slowly but surely Nexus Gaming 2.0 here with 0 placement points, but 9 eliminations after their great fights on the Western Edge.
Yeah, I mean, God's Ultimate also following hot on the heels, coming through with 6 eliminations. So definitely you can see a few teams trying to capitalize on a little bit of that aggression. Of course, falling a little bit short when it comes to those placement points. But, I mean, Epsilon Axe, Mumia, and the 4 Romanian boys, they fell completely shy of points, at least for the start. And that is, I think, going to be applying quite a bit of pressure, especially transitioning into the later matches here. The pressure is going to be on.
Yeah, and we saw the big fat bubble, unfortunately, also for Epsilon Axe. So again, the early game fights, don't want to see those happening too much. Though, if we want to talk about improvements as we go over these highlights, I am happy to see that the Pachinki hot drop has ceased. It is not happening anymore. We had another hot drop here then off Skip Zone versus Epsilon Axe, which was a little bit weird the way it happened, but Pachinki fight is now over. Though, this is the position I was talking about, DK. Nexus in that crash site. Such a good position to take the fights from.
Yeah, and I think the moment they got themselves situated, that is where they just felt so confident, so comfortable within that positioning, and they just were able to just push on forward, continue to apply that pressure, and of course, assert their dominance across the board. But you got to give it up to that nade that found its way into the side there of Team Alpi. I mean, Maximo really, really close to running out of ammo.
Yeah, Maximo couldn't quite go to the max in that game. A still good, strong performance from Team Alpi that are still staying relevant in that conversation. But we still have 3 more matches to go, DK, before we crown our champions. It's going to be even closer at the top after that Nexus winner chicken dinner. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few for match number 2.
Stop, ride us all to the top. We will fit in your, we will fit in your, we will fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We will fit in your box, no. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Son of Augustine. Let's go.
And just like South Africa win themselves the Rugby World Cup, here, Nexus Gaming get themselves their own chicken dinner in style to kick off day number 3 of our grand finals here in PMCO. And I'm sure, just like for South Africa, you're happy Nexus got the win, right? Yeah. Cool time.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy for Nexus that they got the win. They got quite a bit of a win. It wasn't just a mere feat, right? A beautiful 25 pointer that they were able to secure. Yeah, exactly. And now Nexus sitting with 2 chicken dinners on board. This, in fact, has actually been the biggest chicken for Nexus so far.
Yeah, the biggest chicken. It's a big fat chicken. A lot of nuggets coming out of that one. But able to get himself some strong performances. I'm going to see if we're going to see a continuation of that. Of course, we'll look at the leaderboards a little bit as we look at the map feed, as we slowly but surely are encroaching onto our second match of the day. Over to Miramar, which is a game that we've seen a lot of teams rise up. I think it's fair to say, DK, we've seen Team Alpi do good. Vengeance yesterday with that chicken dinner. We've seen good plays also from God's Ultimate. So there's a lot of teams that I would be looking at here as clearly having an opportunity for that chicken dinner. I am just hoping we do not get a Northern Los Leones finish, please. I've had enough of repeat circles. Give me anything else but Northern Los Leones. Just please. I'd love that.
Okay, then okay, so you say anywhere, that's where you would like it to go.
Yes.
I think I'm pretty curious as to where exactly we could have that actually starting to move towards. I would personally love something closer towards Oasis, just because.
Oasis?
Well, yeah, Oasis.
You okay?
All the way up north. I mean, it was hot yesterday. It's not so hot today, so maybe it's just a little bit of a flip-flop in the weather that's resulted in, in some odd answers.
I'm going to say we're going to have a close to La Chumacera finish, okay? That would be something that would make me happy. I'll be really happy. We're going to be looking at the overalls, though, before we do dive into the actual game to see how close it is, DK. And it is so close right now. Only an 8-point difference between Eagle Esports and Nexus Gaming, thanks to that chicken dinner. I thought they were going to run away possibly with a lead if Eagles maintain their consistency, knowing that Nexus can struggle to wrap up games. Now, it's up in the air. It's very uncertain who's going to be the champions at the end.
Yeah, it is gonna be a pretty tough day for Eagles, but as we've seen, they are no strangers to a little bit of a challenge. But I gotta say, this new fire being lit under Nexus, that could be a little bit of a worry, right? Not only for the side of Eagles, but potentially anyone that's trying to catch up to them, because they've now seemingly been able to, bring a little bit more of that balance into play.
I mean, that balance is very important for these guys. The eliminations are cool, but if you can make it late into the game as a 4-man, I mean, you can see the eliminations just naturally start to come your way. So it's good to see Nexus do those changes. Though Eagles now in the hot seat, they are going to be contested in these next 3 matches. They don't have that big fat, I would say big fat bubble, that big fat bubble anymore. They don't have the cushion that they used to have at the start of the day. So they are maybe going to be a little bit under pressure because Nexus Gaming are catching up, and they're catching up fast. But here we are, going also pretty damn fast in our plane. Get ready for the Dusty Dunes. It's Miramar, our last Miramar of this PMCO season here, DK. So let's see who's going to wrap it up in style.
Yeah, let us see indeed. Starting off the proceedings, not a bad flight path to get the party underway. But I think the big kicker, as you are probably hoping, is going to be where that first initial zone is going to be appearing. But who knows? Maybe the PUBG gods could be smiling down upon these teams yet again. So far, it doesn't seem like the teams are going to be looking to do anything out of the ordinary, right? Starting to break off, looking to get themselves situated. But now comes the big question is, what's going to happen over in Picado?
I am not quite sure. So far, I'm not seeing anyone go towards Picado. We're seeing Vengeance. Okay, Vengeance are starting to go there. There you go. They're on that direction, on that path to Picado. Though I'm just waiting for the circle. I'm going to see if I'm going to be happy or if I'm going to start crying in the very near future. We'll see. Though I am seeing 2 teams currently on top of one another going towards Picado, DK, so you were interested to see how that was going to wrap up. I don't like hot drops in Picado too. You got a lot of good trash loot to the west of Picado that you could easily take if you want to, so we'll see. And yes, we finally have it. Our dreams are becoming reality, DK. We have a different circle for the first time in these grand finals. It's going to be up northwest, which a team like BRX that drops up towards La Cobreria are going to be so stoked to have.
Yeah, Especially also seeing that Creative Fields is going to be essentially smacked up center zone. I think this is going to open up a whole can of worms for several teams. And it does seem like we are looking at a little bit of that potential contention coming through, not only at Picado, but also all the way over in towards El Porto. So, yeah, the heat is going to be on. But, even via Del Mar, surprisingly, the teams kind of listened over on Erangel. But Seven and Samurma, they're like, well, Max said nothing about this.
He didn't say anything about this position. How about we do it? You know, how about we drop there? Which is weird to have so many teams. I mean, Mumia in particular could very easily, if they want, get the cars and go for that wide road onto the western edge. I'd like to see that. Though, I don't like to see this, which is Vengeance up against God's Ultimate here in Picado. And I'm seeing a nade getting cooked up on the other side of Vengeance too, but the thing is, they're under-looted. They didn't have time to really get all the loot, and Aka has himself a Car 98, which I still can't find, DK. It's been a week. I still can't find one of my games to show my skin, but
I'll go show you where it is.
Where is it? Tell me.
Well, you have to be in a match with me in order for me to show you.
I think you're too high rank for me, man. You're too good. You're too good. I'm at the bot level, you know.
I mean, I'm also at the bot level, right? That's essentially where I kind of stay. Right? That's my home.
That's why we talk about the game, not play it. You know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my word! But yeah, God's Ultimate able to chase away the pesky players of Vengeance, it seems. And good from God's Ultimate. I was a little bit scared because of their position. They were a bit split, but they were able to regroup. So it's actually the best way to play because now you already got 2 eliminations. Just chase down the solos as a 4-man with that utility, and you should be fine. Vama, that could be a great nade right over the wall and gets him down to just about half health. And that's going to be it. Vama gets himself another one, and he's going to get 3 eliminations right here. Damn, he's on fire.
Ooh. Vama with a little bit of that, well, as we say in South Africa, Vuma, right? It's a bit of a boost.
What?
Vuma.
Vuma?
Yeah, Vuma. Yeah,
what's that?
VUMA. It's like, wow, how do I?
Yeah, you can't just say something and
Momentum.
expect me to
It's
know.
like momentum almost, right?
Ah.
So it's a similar meaning to momentum, but you know, Vuma, Vama, it kind of just you know, it matches up.
Okay.
It sounds similar. It sounds similar. So yeah, definitely Vama with a lot of momentum coming through there. So that's where the segue probably would have worked, right? So as we say in South Africa, Vama coming in with some Vuma, aka great momentum, right? Great follow through and able to secure themselves a decent play.
Yeah, nice little bit of an early fight to go for, and especially it's very important for them to not lose players, right, DK? I think that more than just getting eliminations, which you're always going to be happy about, it's more like not losing any players, still having a chance to aim for chicken dinner because you have not taken any early game casualties. So glad to see that happening. And it seems like Rush are, as always, going to get involved in the fight. But they lose Matala first, which is the worst case scenario, DK. And Shroom is going to be forced into taking a 1v2. Himself the M4 is going to have to go for the swap, and he does actually connect to Lasix. Just let him take a fight solo while he was healing. But he does go and pick it back up for his team with that Uzi, and that's going to be 2 eliminations normally as they try and confirm onto Matana. And there you have it. Lasix keeps the dream alive for TPES.
Yep, Lasix with the laser play coming through there. Poker now.
Poker.
Ooh, gonna be moving up. This could be a play though, or a little bit of a range advantage here.
Oh, Lasix is he can't catch a break, it seems. Just getting knocked time and time again, though. 2 nades are going to be coming his way from TPES. Not sure how good that one is going to be. Poker's going to take a severe beating after that one. And Lolis just nades Castor, it seems. Oh, my word. Nice little off-angle actually set up on the other player of Rush here, Ray Kage, but it's not going to be enough to keep Poker alive. And he's only got himself a red dot, too, with very minimal coverage here. If that party bus explodes, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. But, man, TPES, just like we saw earlier for God's Ultimate, not taking any casualties. Okay, now they lost one. That sucks.
It's unfortunate, but that is just the way it goes. You know, the teams love to have us swallow our words, so let's see what Raikage can do here, what the response will be over on towards TPES. Maybe we could see a little bit of magic being happening here. Oh, no, the answer is no, as Lolis follows through, and that is it, right? Rush, they tried, but unfortunately, they were denied any eventuality here.
Oh, I get their team name now. Rush back to the lobby. That's why. That's that makes that's some really solid branding though. They live up to the name of the team really efficiently. But yeah, it's the early game fights that Rush love so much, but unfortunately the early game fights don't love them back, which is a very one-sided love story, but still better than Twilight. So I can't argue too much with that. We'll see. PRX, though, still went for their usual drop in La Cobreria DK, so they went for the split. Currently taking a lot of positions, a lot of angles, a lot of information is going to be coming their way. Though, actually, I like this. I love this from Epsilon Axe. This is a really good spot to play from. Not easy to dislodge teams away from this location when they get there very early on, especially when you have cars. So good amount of information, but seems like they're going to leave that spot and go for the compound instead, which is surprising. I would have remained there. It's dead center. It's really good information you're going to gain. But seems like Epsilon Axe just don't feel like holding down this spot.
Well, you gotta really fault them because they might be eager to find themselves a few additional points. Maybe kick in a little bit of that lurk mode, right? Start just cleaning the zone as they make their way through. But doing that from the center is gonna be an interesting approach, definitely, to try and take here. Meanwhile, Epsilon Axe also now just trying to find themselves a little bit of a hidey hole to move in towards. Meanwhile, LP trying to get it well ahead of Big Baby, as we still have 3 teams now just situated over on towards the southern side. And this could maybe erupt into a bit of contention either for Power Grid or maybe even Monte Nuevo.
Yeah, I'm sad we haven't seen again that butterfly skin on the monster truck. It's the most aggressive, non-aggressive skin you could have on that kind of a vehicle, but it's very very nice way to rotate in style in the southern edge. As you said, you got yourself a Big Baby, Alpi, and also God's Ultimate. They are going to be looking to rotate through Power Grid, which actually, from rotating across the road north of Power Grid, there is going to be a lot of good scouting options for God's Ultimate, or even Alpi or Big Baby, even Nexus, if they really want to go for a similar rotation path. So there's going to be some nice opportunities, and oh, that's a hard shift and a half here, DK. Up northwest, the western side of La Cobreria, you got some decent compounds to play from, which I think if you're 4 Romanian boys, if you're Mumia, if you are also BRX, or TPES, you might want to go there as early as possible because the number of strong compounds are going to dwindle in the very near future.
Yeah, they are definitely going to start to run out of options and opportunities. But in the meanwhile, Mumia, though, not going to be backing off. Reaching in a little bit of that vengeance play coming through onto Matthias. Now it's going to be Linus, who's also having that HP bar getting drained ever so slowly. But as we proceed further and further through this phase, oh, yeah, the confirmations will find their way on in as Maniac comes in with the play. I mean, yesterday we also did see Maniac coming through with a beautiful slight Matrix play. If you remember, taking quite a bit of damage over towards that bridge back on Erangel. But, I mean, this is not exactly the same map, but who knows? Maybe the same kind of approach.
I don't think you got a need for bridges up northwest of the map. You know, there's no... It's a bit of a dry area than what we've seen over on Erangel, but... Who knows, Maniac could also get himself some nice clutch moments for himself, again, for Mumia. So looking over at now, Skip Zone did have a little bit of a close encounter. Here you're going to have Bunny going to be having some players stranded away, and it's going to be recent VVL going to be just crashed upon, and he's got himself his fit. Whoa! How? Oof. He didn't even have a gun in hand. He just had his 2 guns. I'm talking about his biceps. They're massive, DK, and he just beats them to death. Wow.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go for like something like a thunder and lightning. I mean, that also.
He just goes to the gym a lot, you
know. Speaking about a workout, though, I mean, Exotic Alliance, they're gonna have to work out how they're gonna get themselves situated here. As you pointed out before.
You said you want to do a transition with workout. You can't just then forget about the word. Talk about workout. There's a great rotation happening for this year. It doesn't. DK. It's not how you do it, okay? It's not.
that's how Uncle DK does it. I mean, even IRL. That's exactly how it happens.
DK. Let's redo this, okay?
Yeah.
Workout. Insert workout in that segue, please. Okay. Say what you were gonna say, but insert workout as to make that transition make sense, please. Please, just for me.
Well, seeing that you're on the topic of workout, Bunny Esports here will now have to work out where they're going to get themselves situated into this next zone as they are pushing through from the south, and they still have a little bit of a way to go.
Man, you could have done so much better. You could have done but talking about workout here, Bunny on the rotation, getting their cardio in for the week. And so many more. Oh, well, we'll have to do a little bit of training, DK, on the side. We'll have to pump up those numbers a bit. We'll see. Talking about
get the reps in.
Yeah, talking about pumping up those numbers. 4 Romanian boys pumping up their elimination count, it seems. No, that's how you do a segue. To try and get that utility down onto Amet. Does connect, which Amet, we mentioned many times, DK is the one, in my opinion, standout player for Mumia, has been so impactful in the past. And actually, Akin Sin's going for a wide off angle for his teammates. So actually, that off angle could really shut down Bunny Esports. And look at that. That angle is so impactful. He's got himself a little ridge to hide behind too. Just got to make sure you got to hide that car so you can't get the wheels popped. But otherwise, Akin Sin's really set up his team for success. You don't want to get knocked, though. That would be an unfortunate end for what was, at the start, a really good fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's still quite a bit of pressure building in this region. We've also now got Team LP looking to pull in behind them. While at the same time, we've got Preeti there from Kazama way off in the distance. So a lot of opportunity available, but Mumia Maniac now going to be focusing straight up ahead of them. But Mumia here, right? Beautiful spread. But I'm hoping that they're slowly going to be looking to get themselves closer and closer towards that zone. Otherwise, they too might fall victim to a little bit of a challenging play coming through on towards the edge here.
The thing is, the blue is starting to close, DK, so I would even say if you're Mumia, this fight, it's great because you see now you have 3 teams. You got yourself Kazama, you got Team Alpi, and you also have Bunny all inching in your global vicinity. And now for Romanian boys, look, for Romanian boys leapfrog their position. Now they're going to have to fight for that spot. I wanted Mumia to just push himself back a little bit, not fully engage this fight, and gatekeep in the circle. Now they're forced to take this engagement, and look at that. Maniac is the first to fall. A little bit too blindsided by that fight, it seems. And now Mumia are really going to struggle to make it out at least unscathed in the circle.
Yeah, they went from the gatekeeper to the gatekeepee, and now, ooh, Ahmed trying to squeeze their way on forward. That vehicle just 1 or 2 hits away from going up in flames. But fortunately, though, for Romanian boys, they are looking pretty aggressive yet again. Ooh. I laugh at this approach coming through from Lawrence. Royal there to provide some moral support, but are they going to be able to find it? Yes, they do, and Mumia now down to essentially 2.
4 Romanian boys here were a little bit split, but they were able to make up for it by regrouping pretty much instantly. Sarah is still going to be serving as that off-angle player, which is good to have a good scope of what's happening with Team Alpi and with the remnants of Mumia Esport, but I still feel like having the 4 players on top of one another might be a little bit more favorable if they can do so. Though the circle coming up once again, and this is a bit of terrain, DK. We don't see circles end here too often. It is pretty rare, and you can see up north, if the circle goes there once more, there could be some really good opportunities to rotate for Bunny if they take in the blue, or even Eagle Esports. So I'm really excited to see how things are going to wrap up as Alpi lose Bego 74, and he's sent straight back to the lobby.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity up towards that northern expanse, but Zord is going to pop very, very soon. Reese now trying to dodge it, but it centers up right onto LP, and I think this is great, though, for 4 Romanian boys, especially seeing that they can still apply so much pressure. The difficulty in this comes, though, looking at the ridges that Bunny and the 4 Romanian boys can really utilize to get themselves much, much closer here.
I'm really hyped to see which teams are going to go for the early call. Like, especially Alpi, look at their compound. They can go for a really strong spot, but 4 Romanian boys and Mumia are still going to be taking a fight. I mean, with a Thompson and against a DBS, I think one weapon's just a little bit more powerful than the other, so maybe just a little bit one-sided here. Does hit the first one. Wait, okay, I take it back. What? The Thompson's OP! He gets 2. He doesn't quite get the final flush, but he almost got Lawrence. He could have squad wiped with a Thompson, and he was dealing with a DBS in short range. What just happened? Okay. I love being proven wrong the instant I say something. You know, it's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's just one of those things. Speaking about those things, of course, it is going to be BRX and Kazama looking to take the fight 1 step further. Kazama, nice steady angle here, but Ramondo reaches into Teddy. Jade's also going to be looking to see what they can find and what they can make happen, but instead, it is the pressure play coming through from Preeti. Kazama still holding steady with a 3-piece, but now having to defend against the 3-piece here from BRX. Both teams, though, beautifully split up, and Kazama could definitely get themselves back onto 4.
Big Bailey also on their position here. A little bit split away from one another, and TPS are going to be moving relatively close to their position. But you just said the name Ramon. I don't know why. It's such a guttural name. You just want to scream like Ramon. It's I don't know. That's how I feel. I mean, I want to have a 1v4 from Ramon so I can just scream his name to the top of my lungs. You know, it's just that would be a play-by-play caster's dream to have a name like that. But this is the final clutch. But Team Kazama still with that utility, and we've seen, I feel like in the past week, I don't know how you feel, DK, we've seen a lot more DMRs in play, especially the Mini 14, but it seems like teams are becoming a more aware of how strong those weapons actually are.
I mean, they definitely pack quite a bit of a punch as the teams have been utilizing a lot of them. Speaking of which, though, I mean, even Bat99 holding on to Mini 14 there. But the pressure is still going to maintain and persist over on towards this eastern side. Eagles, beautiful setup that they've got here. Epsilon Axe, they have also a nice bit of elevation to work off of. But Nexus now just trying to clean sweep the edge as we do see Exotic Alliance trying to play for a bit of positioning. But Tornado looking to kick up the storm yet again. They've got utilities, they've got Kapahala in their sights, but will they make that vehicle go boom?
It does. Spoiler alert, it does go boom. And Nexus, again, a little bit too split away, which we've seen that as kind of a trend for Nexus there. They're trying to breach. You need to stick together as much as you possibly can if you want to have a chance on here losing Kapahala for a seemingly no reason at all, it seems. So I would have liked to see that happen, though. Nexus now a little bit pinched. There's going to be some teams in the south. There's going to be some teams in the northern edge. So not quite an easy and smooth transition. But Epsilon Axe also going to be stretched a bit thinly here, DK, as they take a fight also versus Eagles. And Eagles finally using that high ground advantage for themselves. And they are already looking at 6 eliminations this match. And could be looking for way, way more if they keep taking fights like this.
Yep, this could be a phenomenal push coming through here for Eagles. All they got to do is find that last bit of devastation into not only Epsilon, but Nexus also could be falling victim as the locks are in. And that is the Eagles now looking to soar as they pick up a beautiful bit of momentum.
I saw this circle like 2-3 phases ago, and I saw Eagles spawn. Like, there's such an easy opportunity. Well, not easy, but there's an opportunity for them to go for that northeastern clear, which is what they've been doing flawlessly so far this match without losing a singular player. Yuxi up to 5, Marso 1, and Striker 2. But Maximo, I mean, he's got Max in his name, so he's the best player in the team, DK. Not biased at all. But here, just trying to put the hurt down onto Nexus. Redox might be able to get rezzed up, but even if he does, DK, without cars, I don't think that transition is going to be smooth on the execution side of things. But Eagles, I might recommend holding on to that utility. I take it back. Chuck all the nades you want. It worked. It connected. I can't complain.
Well, we can also see Maximo come through with a bit of a clutch here, as XOR is very vulnerable at this point in time. But quite a bit of that southern pressure has been alleviated, right? Looking at BRX and Kazama, they've now instead started to focus in on towards each other. But will XOR make it out? Well, the answer is no, as Marso says thank you so much and sends them back in.
Goodbye. That's it. 11 eliminations. And look at the other teams, how many elims they got. 2, 5, 4, 4, and a bunch of zeros and ones. So far, it is one-sided in Eagles' favor. But they do have also Kazama a little bit close to their location. This would be a good... if I'm Eagles right now, I would think of transitioning onto Kazama, taking that fight, getting a third party. Actually, as I say that, they're doing it. They're doing exactly that. Eagles are just so aware of their surroundings, DK. They see these opportunities and they strike so quickly.
Yep, very efficient though with those follow-throughs. Marso definitely has to try and watch out for these angles, but you got to give it up here to BRX as well, right? Dutch definitely got to try and fend off all the approaches they can muster here. Now, Eagles trying to expand, not only focusing in onto BRX and Kazama, but also just doing a little bit of that due diligence over towards the western side of zone.
And most importantly, DK, they still have cars, so if they win this fight against BRX, if they win this fight against Kazama, they can then transition downhill with those cars pretty swiftly, and they should not be threatened. And look at, did you see the average survival time? 26 minutes over on Miramar.
Wow.
That is an insane... I mean, there's only been 2 so far, and they've done really good on 2, but 26 minutes is really good. And they're looking to beat that once more in this match, it seems. So I'm loving what we're seeing from Eagles. Clearly also a new standout rising team that I would say if there's... Okay, outside of the heavy hitters in this lobby, GK, I've talked about individual players I like to see in PMPL. I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like Eagles, in a PMPL setting, this kind of playstyle would be so efficient.
Yeah, this definitely would. I mean, just the way that they handle these zones, we've seen them have success on Erangel. We've seen them have phenomenal success when it comes to Sanok. Miramar, the only map in which we need to see them also lock in that exact kind of success, because the basing is there, the positioning is there. But now, will they be able to follow through with the spread and the plays as we are going to be looking onto the zone? Ooh. But of course, it is going to be Bunny, and 4 Romanian boys also find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a clash that's going to be forced to happen between these squads. Though Bunny, I mean, we know how good they are at playing these high ground positions, these high ground locations on Erangel. And I'm just waiting to see how they're going to play this one out. A decent game up to 5 eliminations, but 4 Romanian boys aren't going to give up their spot. So Bunny, understand we don't want to take this fight. Let's go for the wide rotate northwest, though Reason does make it be looking to breach Alpi later on down the line.
Well, there could be an opportunity for that indeed to come on through. You got to say though, Bunny, beautiful bit of scouting there on the side of Twist. Now it's going to be Get Wrecked. Also just trying to poke and prod as best they can, but the Eagles continuing with their focus in on BRX as Deno gets knocked on down. Marso, beautiful utilization. But will they get that follow through? The opportunity is there. Up comes the push to the play. Now, BRX trying to back off, but it's going to be Kazama pushing in from that southern side, and they find themselves in a very tough sandwich.
Hell yeah, this is the fight I love to see for Eagles. 14 eliminations, GK, and still counting. They are going to be the kings of the East here. They're going to get themselves the full squad wipe, it seems. Also, maybe onto Kazama. But they're going to retreat. They don't want to fully commit to it, which is surprising. I thought they might have gone for it, but maybe with this kind of circle shift, they understand it's not quite valuable. How about we transition deeper in this next circle shift? While Big Baby also on the pivot, on the rotate, looking for 4 Romanian boys. They're down to 2 players. Can they hold down the fort?
Well, Ramon now stepping into the fight here as well, looking to see how they can bring it in. This makes me think of Happy Feet because there's a Ramon in there as well. But either which way, let's see whether or not they can hold true because 4 Romanian boys, they're going to be looking to play a little bit of elevation.
I mean, with a position like this, with a utility they might still have, it could be good, but these nades, not actually that hard to hit because you can just see the footsteps on the minimap and you can be very accurate on those throws. It's just really smart from 4 Romanian boys. They are playing a little bit more on the retreat, right? They're not just hugging that cliffside. They're just a bit further back, so it makes it really hard for Big Baby to hit those nades. So really good respect play from 4 Romanian boys. That they're looking at Kazama in the distance. If they can eliminate Kazama here, and maybe Eagles, I don't think they'll be able to eliminate Eagles. They could fully execute their game plan from that ridge, but Kazama on the move, Pretty, trying to make the cross, and he will make it to the other side of the road.
Yeah, fortunate for them that Get Wrecked was hitting the edge of the terrain there. Now Lawrence, Get Wrecked trying to survive as Ramon comes through with a nade. Oh, on the money!
I am surprised he was able to hit that one to perfection onto Lawrence. That is such a great clutch nade. I do wonder, though, is there a chance for them to actually get access to the high ground position? Because after that knock, you want to wrap up the fight. You want to clear this position, DK. But unfortunately, it seems like there's no easy pathway up there. So they just have to hold down. And unfortunately, sure, there was a great knock, but it is not going to be rewarded with an elimination.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. But I think the difficulty of this exact position here is, well, looking at the positioning of the other teams over on towards that eastern side, as we did see a zone shift come through. But I think for Romanian boys, right, that the smokes that they put out, that just gave them that extra bit of an advantage. And also a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room just to reassess the whole situation.
Oh, this is tough for Romanian boys, though. They're not going to be encircled. They need to take the fight while they still can. Teddy's going to be the first to fall. And that's going to be the end of that big old monster truck. No more rotates for him. They're still able to make over to that ridge line. They're not quite in circle. Like, so little mouth teams are in circle here, except for Team Alpi and Marso of Eagles. Everyone else in this game is going to have to rotate DK. And Bunny can see us slowly descending from that high ground position. But Team Alpi, are they going to allow them to make that rotation for free?
Well, I think it's not only Team LP that they're going to have to be worried about is, of course, still the 4 Romanian boys. But Get Wrecked now trying to find the play. Instead, the follow-through is there. Overlaid. Lays right into the side of them. Get Wrecked is down. Lawrence falls, and that is the 4 Romanian boys out of here. Big Baby now have to do still quite a bit of work. As you can see, Bunny also now taking up a bit of a position here.
You can read... Oh! No! Is he going to get back? He get back? Yes! Woo!
Nailed it.
Oh, Big Baby did it. That would have actually been awful if he flipped the car after to do that rotate by foot. So a little bit lucky there for Big Baby. And actually find such a good ridge. They saw that ridge from earlier. They just had to eliminate 4 Romanian boys. Now they can execute their game plan. But Ramon is a little bit low. He's going to have to hit the heal up. I didn't even have to say it, but it's just I wanted to say his name. But Eagles, though, 18 eliminations. And now, because there isn't any more of Kazama over to the east of the road, DK, they can play the road ridge. This is going to be such a good game. We could be looking at a 20 elimination plus match from Eagle Esports, which has never been done yet in this PMCO season.
Yep, I mean, this is absolutely insane. Eagles, though, they've established that they are capable of securing themselves a very hefty chicken. If you remember back to, well, of course, Sadok, back on the first day, they got 16 eliminations. But now, they've already surpassed those scores. And looking at the position, as you said here, holding on to the ridge line, this could be their ticket to yet another winner chicken dinner. Big Baby, I think, could also be quite a bit of a contentious team to play at. But now with the zone centering even just a little bit more, Bunny as well as LP still in it.
The Alpi, they're also going to be in the hot seat here. They're going to have to take a fight versus Bunny, it seems. That's going to be the big oncoming fight. Great from Recent. He's already in the building. Though I do wonder, because if you are Big Baby, you see the Eagles going to have such a good position. Maybe not anymore, but Ban gets the opening knock onto Yuxi. Great headshot to connect here. And I don't think they're going to be able to go for that res, DK. That is going to be a tough one to get. But Big Baby also going to be using one of their own. Maximo getting that great opening Molotov. And they are going to be slowing that approach. And they are going to get that res, I believe, DK. They're going to be sending players over the road. Going to go and use some resources here. Big Baby will not be able to be successful on that rotate.
Well, good response. Good bounce back coming through from Eagles. I like this approach coming through from Maximo. Definitely going to be looking to be that initial bit of a buffer, bit of a barrier, trying to apply the pressure. Ooh. All right, well, if you don't want to move, we'll move you. Regardless, Ramon still potentially could be quite a bit of a nuisance here for Maximo, though.
If you can't get to the left or the right of the player, we'll just go under him, apparently. Just the best way to do it. They do transition, though, that car. You got to be careful. The explosion could be causing them a severe amount of damage. Though, are they going to be... I don't think they're nade range from Marso right now, and I'm not even sure if he still has utility. But here you go. This is the big fight we've been talking about earlier, DK. It is going to be Bunny versus Team Alpi. A 2v3 currently unfolding. But, oh, he's going to go for the second floor. This is a great little play from Bunny. They could get himself an angle that I don't think Team Alpi are expecting. Because he could jump up there, right? Yeah, he could jump over to the... Yeah. Oh, Twist, actually, that would be... I would love that. If his teammates, Nymphex and Recent, get there, and he plays from that from that first floor building, that would be massive.
Oh, it's going to be showtime here. Sandre cooking up the nade. Twist, you got to watch out. You got to watch out. Run, run, run. Ooh, those boxes. Those boxes. Beautiful bit of hard coverage. But Striker also now starting to creep up, trying to get their eyes on a bit of an opportunity. And I love the spread coming through from Eagles.
Look at Marshall. He's got the MG3 from that crate. Uh-oh. Okay, that is going to be making it even better for Eagles to secure themselves. Who knows, this chicken dinner, but Twist is there, opening up the gates of hell. Gets the initial knock for his teammate. It's going to be on to Maxito. That's it. Team Alpi just going to be swiped away from this match. A fourth elimination, barely missing out on a podium finish, but instantly Bunny have to start thinking of fighting Big Baby, which do want to go for the third party, but it's not going to be smooth sailing for them in this fight.
Well, here we go. Eagles now trying to sort themselves. Marso getting taken on down. No MG3 play is going to be seen. But up comes Ramon, indeed, looking to just clutch up the last little bit here. Bunny down to a two-piece. It's going to be Recent and Nymphex. Ooh, up comes the player. Ramon lets it loose. Is it going to find anything? No, that wasn't even a grenade. Oh.
There's a little bit of a flashy play he tries to go for. Great nade connects off to Ramon. A little bit of damage. He hits one. He gets two. Ramon here for the clutch and connects it right on top of Bunny Esports. That's what I was waiting for. That was the play. But now Ramon with his trusted DBS going to be pushed from all sides by Eagle Esports. Maximo also a DBS of his own. Going to be able to take himself the fight. Misses the shot. And it is going to be a flawless Eagle Esports chicken dinner with 20+ eliminations. The most dominant performance we have yet seen this entire PMCO 2023 season.
I mean, what a way to set the standard, to set the bar coming into the second match of the day. Eagles, I think it is safe to say that they are absolutely dominating this lobby right now. But you got to give a big shout out there to Ramon, right? Absolutely beautiful stance that they were trying to hold.
And especially the transitions on the northeastern edge, so smooth every single step of the way, clearing teams and especially not giving any breathing space to these teams. When there's a third-party opportunity that arises, they instantly strike while the iron is hot. And off the back of that, I mean, we saw it except for Kazama, they had so much room to play with and make their game plan pretty much work to almost perfection. So Eagle Esports, fantastic game plan through and through. 31 pointer for this match. I mean, there was an opportunity for Nexus to compete for that first position after that chicken dinner earlier, DK. Now that point lead has increased an extra 31 points. Nexus are going to have a tough time here to wrap up a first place in the next two matches.
Yeah, especially with them coming through with nothing but bubbles for this
Whoa.
match. So the pressure is definitely immense, immense, immense at this point. I mean, Eagles just soaring with such an insane performance. I'm not quite sure how Nexus are going to be able to catch them because they're going to have to just lock it in game after game coming through.
Yeah, and we're going to have some replays to go through again because I just want to have 10 times that replay of that Ramon clutch. Okay? I love just rolling the R on his name too. It just really fits for any kind of play-by-play caster to cover that one. But yeah, early game fights happening though. Rush, again, not scared to take fights. Okay, they're very courageous and brave team. I'll give them that. But that's pretty much it.
They're not scared. They're not scared to get involved, and unfortunately, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't exactly go their way. But speaking about approaches and plays, though, I mean, there was just such a bit of pacing coming through here. Kazama also trying to pack a bit of a punch here, you know, with the varying levels of results. For Armenian boys, you also got to give it to them, able to establish quite a few eliminations also in this game.
Yep, 4 Armenian boys off to a very good start over to the west, but unfortunately, when they were locked on that hill, they were having a tough time to get rid of Big Baby. They were playing the low side of the ridge. That car flip that still extremely lucky for Baban. He could have been in a world of trouble against Kazama and Eagles and just rolling over teammates, it seems. But we know that the clutch is happening here for Ramon. Okay, I'm sad now. We're not seeing the clutch that I was hoping to see. But still, what a game from Ramon. He was just keeping Big Baby in the conversation this entire match.
Yeah, and I mean, that is exactly the kind of play that we needed to see come through from Big Baby, which again is no surprise because they've been exceptionally consistent when it comes to Murmur.
Yeah, very consistent indeed. But you know what? That was it for our Miramar adventures here. That's going to be done for PMCO. We still have 2 more matches. The next one is going to be Sanhok, our last at Sanhok also of this entire grand finals. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.
It's time to upgrade your PUBG mobile outfits. Join free daily cups for solo, duo or squads. Win Faceit points. Exchange for PUBG Mobile UC. To customize your accounts, join Faceit today and earn rewards. Try for free at faceit.com/PUBG Mobile.
Oh yeah, Eagles having a great time here today, it seems, able to lengthen their lead in first place on the rankings, but there's still a few games to go here, DK. Two games to be completely exact, and we're going to see if that first place could be stolen away or Eagles are just going to soar high and higher and higher in these games. Though, as I said, 2 matches remain. It's going to be Sanok and Erangel, DK, but still a lot of opportunities for changes to happen on those leaderboards.
Yeah, still a little bit of that jungle rumble that is going to be coming through here, so we could have quite a few upsets being played at. But speaking about upsets, look at that leaderboard though.
Whoa. So I didn't want to interrupt there. I was just like, whoa, that's an insane lead to have right now. 47 placement points from Eagle Esports now with 3 chicken dinners and a few podium finishes here and there too along the way. I mean, Nexus, technically, DK, they could catch up. They could close that gap in these next 2 matches, but we need to see Nexus reach the late game, get heavy eliminations, and see Eagles die early. Because if Eagles don't have 2 bad games in a row, I think we already know our champions here.
Yeah. I mean, that gap is there, right? And it's more than just a little gap. It is quite the bit of a gap being established. But as you said before, if Nexus are going to be looking to contest, they're going to have to play 2 perfect back-to-back matches here.
Yeah, 2 great matches, even just consistent matches for them, and that gap should be pretty much nigh impossible to close and get close to. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting Sanok game as always for these guys, and I mean, really intrigued to see where the circle is going to go. Are we going to have again the Rogo Island finish? I like that. Not gonna lie, I don't like circles that repeat themselves, but Rogo Island is the exception. It's always fun to see how things are going to go. But I'm just being told right now by production we are just 10 seconds away from getting ready for our 3rd match of the day. It's the penultimate match here, DK. We'll see who's going to be able to rise up to secure themselves another chicken dinner.
Yep, speaking about chicken, here we go. It is time for the teams now to get themselves situated, to get themselves spread out and start, establishing that pecking order. In the meanwhile, I wonder if we're going to have any hot drops, right? We've seen a little bit of a push back and forth. We did see quite a few teams yesterday, of course, all dipping down into Rogo Island, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be the case here today.
Why do you have to mention hot drops? You know what that does to me, DK, okay? I have a prescription, I have medication, okay, to not think about hot drops, but you just bring me back to it, just making me relive the Am I seeing 3 teams in bootcamp right now? No, I'm imagining things. That please tell me I'm colorblind. I'm not colorblind. Okay. It's going to be Skip Zone versus Vengeance and also God's Ultimate, which God's Ultimate have been pretty successful in these early game hot drops, it seems, recently. Which means that they hot drop on all 3 maps, DK. By the way, just interesting point to make about God's Ultimate. Okay.
Well, I mean, they wanna fulfill the latter part of their name, so it makes sense. They want to be the ultimate team, and well, they're gonna have to work their way through the congestion coming through into the lovely lobster. But now, right, Matthias and the rest of the Squib Zone gonna have to find that pacing as they've now been brought down to 2. Make that 1 as King now needs to try and be, well, successful because, again, a very, very tough position to play.
Okay, the S12K gets picked away. It's Vengeance to snatch that 1 for themselves, and God's Ultimate will be already up to 4 eliminations. Could be looking, actually, for 6, if not... Actually, 6 eliminations God's Ultimate could be looking at in the early stage, which... Sure, they lose a player. 6 eliminations kind of worth it, though. I'd say losing a player usually is not great if you just get squad wipe. 6 elims, could be actually pretty decent. And you get all the loot of boot camp and also a pretty smooth transition point from there on out. So that's the case. Though we didn't see the phase 1 circle pop, DK, but it does go to the southern eastern edge of the map towards the more quarry center location. So as of right now, this is going to be having a little bit of a change compared to our 2 previous iterations of this map.
Yeah, well, a change is as good as a holiday, so let's see who is going to be kicking back and maybe whipping up a bit of a storm here. Going to say, though, the spread coming through from Mumia down towards that southern side is going to be looking quite interesting. I like also that Exotic Alliance are playing a very similar kind of spread. Obviously not the same position, but there is an opportunity for those 2 teams. Even you could go as far as to include Bunny in that. There's a great opportunity for these 3 teams now to get quite a bit of information and maybe act accordingly. But by none is where we are going to be having the players here from Kazama with, of course, Bunny just over on towards the eastern side.
It's going to be a bit rough for Kazama to make that transition because if you're Bunny and who knows, maybe have done their research on Kazama and usually how they like to drop and play this location and rotation, you could just hold the hilltop to the east of Painan and just hold off Kazama and make them all rethink their whole rotation and game plan, or pick up a few eliminations here or there, and in the best case scenario, get the entire squad wipe on Kazama. So that's going to clear some space on the west. So there are opportunities here. Knowing Kazama and seeing what they're doing, they're going to the western side of that bridge. So maybe it's just a looting thing, or maybe they actually want to make that transition that way to avoid Bunny. We'll see how things are going to be wrapping up for them as Rush. Always going to be looking for fights, but Matana is solo, DK, which always scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if Matana does this a little bit too much, I could start developing a few heart palpitations to come through. But I guess that goes along with the rush, right? It gives you a different kind of rush, the excitement that you could experience here. This is a good setup, though, for Matana. Great bit of awareness. But now the rest of the team will have to, I think, kind of act in kind, right? Also get themselves situated much, much closer to this positioning here.
I'm a bit uncertain what's going to happen for Rush because they still have 3 players to the west of Ruin, while Matana is in Bootcamp Hill in the south of Bootcamp. And there's 3 players of BRX that are going to come their way. So I'm just a bit uncertain, let's say, is going to be the word I'm going to use. So we'll see how Rush are going to play this one out, though. Exotic Alliance, you mentioned their position earlier, DK, as a strong spot to go for, but they instantly go for that rotate. Going to send it southeast of Quarry, which, you know, I don't like Quarry, and going for the positions around Quarry early is always good because moving into Quarry or outskirts of Quarry late is always such a tough move to make. So Exotic Alliance go there early. They just aren't quite sure and aware that Ahmet of Mumia is there lingering with his teammate in the shadows.
Well, there could be a great chance for Mumia now to wrap up a few additional eliminations. They just got to choose the opportune moment to strike. I mean, Atkinson's and Augurs are going to be finding themselves much, much further away. So there is a bit of value in those 2-2 splits, but that is not going to be an easy approach now coming through here for Mumia, especially with the Exotic Alliance being so mobile just within this compound. Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Ooh, couldn't quite hit the spray transfer for Maniac. But at least they get themselves that one. I am surprised. They're taking that fight, but their 2 teammates are nowhere near. So you're going to get that knock. It's not going to be super useful because, guess what? You're not going to be able to get those confirms. Actually has a Molotov. He could just spread that fire on the wooden floor of these buildings. I keep mentioning it every time that a Molotov would be massive here. But look, they got the res. So sure, you had the surprise factor, but it's rendered pretty much useless now because you didn't have the teammates to follow up on that fight. So a little bit more trigger discipline might have been a little bit of a better decision in this fight.
Yeah, but you see the difficulty also comes through with this being Sanok, is the teams are so close
Ooh.
in general. Great nade though coming through here from Ahmed, but I am looking over onto the side there of the forum, many of the boys who could also look to come through with a bit of a third party here.
Yeah, they're going to try and even chuck more utility through those. Ahmed just getting it done and dirty in this fight. And 12 is going to be the next one to fall. Exotic Alliance, they're just crumbling to pieces. The floor is on fire here, but Ahmed will be able to take that one down. Oh, actually, DBS fight. Oh, Raj MVP able to get himself some dirty work done, but it's not going to be enough against Mumia. And they actually will be able to win themselves off that fight with 3 eliminations going over to Ahmed. So I was a bit judgmental at the start of that fight, DK, but the ending execution was quick, smooth. Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. And now they got to follow up, right? Still, I think four Romanian boys are going to come knocking on that door as well. But in the meanwhile, we are going to be hopping over towards Bunny. And, of course, then the Blaze here coming through from the side of Kazama. You can see Nymphex trying to set up a bit of an opportunistic play here. But, I mean, Bunny, I like this lineup. Again, if they choose to strike, they're going to have to do it very, very quickly.
Please, not a quarry finish. Please, not a quarry finish. Give me a cave finish again. I'd love that. Okay, that's cool. It could not end up in quarry, DK. So I'll tell you that. That is a minor W in my eyes. But Bunny actually left the high ground position east of Painan, which means that Rush technically could go for that rotation, take that position, which I personally see it as one of the better spots this game. It's just a bit... It's kind of like similar to Potato Hill in the sense it's really big amount of terrain to control. So you are vulnerable in positions, but if you play it as a close stack, I think Rush could have a good opportunity this game. And they still have 4 players alive at phase 2. What's going on?
Yeah.
They didn't rush to the lobby. It's great.
Yeah, we're getting a rush of adrenaline. That's what's happening right here.
That's a good segue. That's a good one. I love that. Yes, more of that, please. I love that. That's a good one.
I gotta hide the good ones in between the not so good ones, right? Because then when I hit the good one, it just sounds so much better.
So you just want us to be disappointed 90% of the time, and that 10%
Yeah.
is like, oh, that was really good. So
Yeah, pretty much.
that's a weird strat, but okay, fair enough. You know, if that's how you want to do it, you guess.
But yeah, I mean, for Iranian boys also going to be finding themselves with a bit of an opportunity, especially now with their potential approach up in towards Cave. They have nobody really to worry about on that southern edge. And it doesn't seem like Alpi is going to come in hot behind them. Now it's going to be Epsilon Axe, though, having to fend off, or rather fend onto the side here of Kazama as the opportunity is there. Tornado coming through with the nades. This could be big, but they're going to have to find the exact positioning, though.
Oh yeah, the fend on. The best way to do it.
Yes.
As God's Ultimate also taking their very own fight versus Eagles, and Eagles, they're going to be heated after that previous 21 elimination chicken dinner. So hope to see how they're going to be taking that fight. Do miss out on that initial knock, but Marso will be able to survive that initial knock. He will get rezzed up. As God's Ultimate now in that building. Are we seeing any Molotovs that are going to come out? Well, Vama just does the dirty work for Eagles, it seems. Oh no, it all goes downhill. There's even a third party happening from TPES over on the northeastern edge, and that's going to be it for God's Ultimate. A crash that, at this stage, I don't think was quite that useful, and now the Molotovs are going to spread right on top of Maximo's corpse.
Well, this is the approach now. TPES is going to try and see if they can breach into these compounds. So far, a great opportunity being played out of here. Oh, but Marso says, thank you so much for coming, but you're not coming inside, though.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to our Airbnb, but your credit card has been declined. You are not welcome in this vicinity. As TPES... Oh, nice nade from Lolis, actually, from the other side of that wall. These little buildings are just so treacherous, DK, because they're so easy to nade and molly. So, it's just better to avoid being in those locations. Luckily enough, though, he's able to cross over, but that door, might want to try and get away from it. As Maximo also was able to cross over. But Marso, though, in his spot, not quite sure he's going to have the same lucky fate as his teammate. Now, TPES, actually, taking one of the better fights here. Their usage of utility is great, but now they're going to go for the push. They want to use that man advantage. They're right behind the door. Lazex, though, not able to even shoot a single shot of that DBS. But that will not be the case for Lolis, though. He gets one, gets two, and he's going to be looking to swipe away the entirety of Eagle Esports. As only Yuxi remains, and he's going to try and get as many of those points as he can while he's still breathing.
Well, Upgonsberg now trying to come through with a bit of a response. It is going to be a very hairy engagement. Team Alfie also going to be falling all the way out on the edge. But here comes the playbook. Oh, what a clutch up.
Whew, 6 eliminations, 2 to their name. So TPES already looking good, but that's only going to be Berg left alive. And after hearing that fight, who knows? Maybe a team like Vengeance in the Southern Edge might have heard that and be like, maybe, or even Bunny, maybe we can go and gatekeep that team later on, because the Circle is not going to have them in Phase 3. And Bunny still going to be going over. Oh, behind that door, he just doesn't know. Oh, he misses. 1, 2, he misses again. Oh, God. I really thought that was going to be a throw from Bozanak. I was tensed on my chair, DK.
You gotta check your seat for a few holes. But in the meanwhile, I gotta say though, if Twist was able to clutch that one up, you know, you could have said in a weird twist of fate, Vengeance was able to survive, or they weren't able to survive. As the plays come through, now it's gonna be Dimfix trying to step it up. Bozanak, this could be the opportunity. Ooh, look at that placement. Is he going to find it? Oh, so close, but just narrowly missing.
Yeah, the bounce on the top of these rocks is really tough, because depending on what angle that top of the rock actually is looking at, it will bounce it possibly sometimes away from the players. So Zanak again with the DBS going to try and chase him down right in the back. Nimfex not even given a chance to retaliate. And now it's going to be a recent, as currently the sole survivor of his team in that location. Merciless is still alive, but nowhere near his position. He's going to have to make that cross, and I don't think Vengeance are going to allow it. But look at that, Nexus. They hear this fight. They're like, oh, we could just take the high ground and get maybe a few easy eliminations, and he can't even make it over to that tree. As Recent next to fall, and Nexus steal it away. That's Redox. Oh, what a beast.
Yep, now the opportunity is there. The opportunity is available for Nexus to come through with potentially even more of a bit of a dominant play. Doran trying to see if they can find Merciless. The angles are there. Redox now trying to step it up. Oh, and Doran secures the finish. That is Bunny getting taken down in 10th.
And this is a very important fight, DK, because we did see on this last circle pop, it goes to the western side of the river, which means here they're making that transition even easier for themselves. Nexus clearly looking for the next step of their game plan on this stand-up game. Because now they got control of this high ground spot, they could easily spot out any potential threats later on. Though they do seem a little bit undiluted. I'm seeing some tier 1 helmets and vests for some of the players, which are not quite the best as you're going to try and make that possible rotation across the river if the circle is not quite favorable. The 4 Romanian boys in the blue, struggling to survive in the water, and they're going to be, I think, losing every single one of their players very soon.
Yeah, but I think this is a good read coming through from the side of Epsilon. They're just reaching in, being an absolute menace now to the side of 4 Romanian boys who are yet to get themselves out of that blue zone and into a little bit of security. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to survive stage 4, especially as we know there's only a little bit of time left. And looking at how far they still need to go, I don't think that they're going to get themselves situated before phase 5 kicks in.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. Though I'm looking at Big Baby, DK. Their split over to the west is massive. They got so much terrain to work with. Like, DK purely in terms of position alone, DK, I would put as a team that could be maybe not looking for podium finish. That could be a bit tough, like depending on how teams approach their location. But at least a heavy elimination match. I would love to see that coming in from Big Baby.
Well, all we got to do is wait to see how they will play out this approach. Meanwhile, Vengeance also going to be looking to now get themselves positioned up in towards the next phase. Still quite a bit of ground to cover. Same can be said here. Still looking over onto the side of 4 Romanian boys, but Sarah trying now to heal the blue. Oh, will they get it just in the nick of time, at least for this first one? But it's going to be a never-ending story unless they get themselves out of harm's way. Epsilon Axe, though, beautiful setup on the edge of zone here.
Yeah, and looking to apply some pressure. They got 5 eliminations already, 3 of those on Tornado. My man. As they are looking to just get rid of that split of Big Baby that I mentioned just a few seconds ago, DK. It's a good spot. If Epsilon Axe can breach it early, you are also negating the opportunity for other teams to third-party that fight, which I do like. I think that's a good way to approach it for Epsilon Axe, but from how they're playing this one, they're playing it pretty slow, which is not a bad thing. I think it's fine. They're just being very aware of their surroundings. They just want to make sure that when they go for the breach, it is going to be the opportune time to do so. Well, that is going to be the last first aid of Sarah. That blue zone is slowly going to be ticking him away to death.
Yep, Sarah might be saying see ya pretty soon. Tornado, though, is going to get dropped on down. Now we are down to bandages, and this is where it gets very scary for the side of the 4 Romanian boys. But looking at the positioning coming through there from Big Baby, I think that they have quite a big opportunity at hand. Nexus also going to try and cause a little bit of damage as they need to try and clear a bit of a pathway, opting for the bridge, and this could be where the devastation now gets delivered by BRX.
Yeah, Exo couldn't even get himself those extra meds on board, so that's going to be it. Nexus just going to be decimated one by one as they cross that bridge. Doran makes it in, so as a solo, I mean, it is Sanok. A solo could be a major threat, DK. There could be Doran just snaking his way in those bushes and able to just survive and make his way into the later stage, but outside of that, the chance of a chicken dinner doesn't seem quite possible. Tries to make it over to that other rock. He is successful. A little bit too close for comfort, but he does survive a little bit further.
Yep, that's all you need. That's all you need for now. Is just to try and survive as best you possibly can. I mean, you gotta say though, BRX doing a phenomenal job. They still have 4 players up. Big Baby also still sitting with 4. But the eliminations not necessarily being as high as they think they would have hoped it to be at this point. Up comes Arabo as Big Baby come knocking on the door. They got Epsilon just up ahead of them. Tornado and Sharp. Ooh. Just managing to avoid the carnage for the time being. But the delivery is there. Big Baby gonna continue to defend. Or rather aggress onto Epsilon. Sharp trying to hold steady, but down they go.
Really good regroup from Big Baby. I was a little bit skeptical on their split that they would be vulnerable to a breach like what Epsilon Axe tried to execute, but good regroup. Love that from the entirety of the team. But Ramon is still there, so that's all that matters. He's still alive and well. Though I am looking at some of these squads. Rush, still alive. Rushing for the late game, it seems, this time, which is... You love to see that from Rush. They're going to be able to bring some fragging power to the later stage. They did lose Matana. That, again, that tends to happen quite often, DK. Not the biggest fan of that. But that blue zone tick damage. Wait. Is that going to get them re-knock onto Shoom. I think he's going to get knocked here. Going downhill. 1 bullet's all they need. He just makes it right behind that ridge. The lucky devil. Can't quite say the same for Reikage here, as he's going to already start to take a beating.
Well, Boca also now trying to come in with a little bit of that suppression. They do find Deno, 1 down. Few more to go, but this could be that golden opportunity now for Rush to get themselves situated. I like this defensive angle being held here by Boca, but it's going to be up to the rest of the squad to see whether or not they can successfully rotate on in. Now, Boca reaching across the way. You can see overlaid on the far distant side. Doran also still in the mix.
I would love to see Rush go for the compound northwest, DK. If they go there, Big Baby aren't going to be able to rotate quickly. BRX aren't going to be able to rotate quickly because it's going to be such a strong spot. I really, really hope we're going to see that. Though Doran, we said it, a solo could still be a pain and a thorn in the side of these teams. And so far, he got that opening knock, just going to make it even tougher. But by taking those shots, overlaid of Big Baby, spots him. Does he have a nade or an angle to eliminate Doran?
Well, that's going to be the big question. But the pressure is there. Doran now not quite aware of where exactly Big Baby are currently situated. You can see Doran focus forward, but Overlaid could play a beautiful surprise positioning here. This could be exactly the kind of approach that Big Baby now need to bring on in. Of course, they are sitting with those 3 eliminations. They could have the 4th in line. Yes, there we go. Overlaid gets the play secured. Nexus out with 5 eliminations, though.
Yep, still a few eliminations, but Eagles got himself, I think, 6 early in the match, so not going to be able to really close that gap. It's actually going to increase possibly a little bit based on that. Actually, no, there's some placement points, so it should be fine for Nexus, but going to be having to get himself a massive last match if they want to compete for that first place, and that's going to be the nade coming out from Shoom. That dip is so strong as a transition point for Rush, and even Touch can't really survive unscathed that transition. But Shoom, main focus is to go for the res, but Big Baby, I mean DK, they're just taking the angles south of the road. They're just getting those spreads. And right now, they are going to be going for that win pretty easily. Rush aiming for 2nd place, but they will not be granted that wish as Touch is there to wrap it up. And it will be a 2nd place heading the way of BRX Esports.
Well, good play though. Big Baby now with a easy ticket to that chicken dinner. Up comes the push onto Touch. It's not over just yet. But Overlaid is prepped and ready to roll with that DBS. Let's see whether or not this is going to be closing the show. You got to get up real quick fast. Up comes the play. Ho-ho! And, of course, Overlaid secures the winner chicken dinner for Big Baby. And I believe that has been their first victory that they've been able to achieve.
Yep, Overlaid was really eager to go for that win, it seemed. But this is a great day for Big Baby, right? The guy himself, a podium finish on the previous game, especially thanks to Ramon that got that clutch, and now they're able to get themselves a chicken dinner back-to-back. So far, this is the redemption day for Big Baby that we were waiting to see. 17-pointer on this last Sanok of this PMCO season. Love to see that. But Rush too. I mean, a lot of teams that we have been expected to do a bit better, DK, that have been a bit silent in recent last 2 days. Big Baby, Rush, BRX, glad to see a bit of a redemption arc for these guys at the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than a redemption arc being played here. So, Rush, they're going to have to try and see how far they can look to push this. But speaking of pushing it, I mean, Alpi, Kazama, Exotic Alliance, they're running out of time. They're running out of options. And Bunny also just securing 1 singular point. It's going to be even more challenging now moving into the final match.
It really is. I would love to see what the rankings look like before our last game, because just to see exactly what we're working with for these teams. But we're going to be having some highlights to look at as always, because there's a lot to recap this match. And I think that we had this early game fight that was happening between these 3 teams. You had yourself Skip Zone, you had yourself God's Ultimate over there too. But God's Ultimate at the end were able to prevail even against the last players of Vengeance.
Yeah, and this was also quite a bit of a tough engagement going through between T-Pairs and the side of Eagles. But Yuxi trying to defend it. Yep. Bozanak. Just cracking on through as they pick up a little bit of that twist play as well. Bunny, they had a very tough time actually getting themselves into good positioning out in this field. I mean, even Merciless not having any luck with those trees.
Yeah, even Nexus, I think, having a really good game here onto the eastern edge. Just that transition you're going to be seeing here as they try and cross that riverside. Epsilon acts at such a strong angle to play from. If you had, a chance to knock them down, that could have made that transition just a lot smoother on their end, but unfortunately, even then, it's just not quite going to work out. Rush, that nade from Touch, though, a 3-piece with a singular piece of utility, that is always going to be absolute stonks on your end.
Yeah, touch of perfection coming through there from BRX. Just gotta love these plays though. But of course, Max, as we know, we only have one more match to go, the decisive game.
You are, in fact, correct, DK. Only one more match remains. It's going to be over to Erangel. So if you want to see who's going to be crowned champions, it's possibly going to be Eagles. Stick around for that. We'll be back right after this break.
We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Son of Augustine. Let's go.
It is time to wrap up here this PMCO 2023 Europe season as we reach the end of day 3 of our grand finals. It's match number 12, and we're going to be able to see who's going to be remaining at the top and who's going to maybe have a nice little dash at the end to get themselves some extra ranking points and, of course, some extra prize pool on board. But looking at the overall rankings, that gap of Eagle Esports, not impossible technically to overtake, but, I mean, come on, DK, it's pretty much nigh impossible.
I mean, so Nexus will have to pull off a 24 elimination match.
Which is doable.
To be
I've
on
seen,
par.
yeah, I've seen a 27 elimination win one day, so who knows?
Yeah. But of course, there as well, we know that there's the winner with chicken dinner count that comes in, so there's a lot of, a lot to take into consideration here. But yeah, I think it could be safe to say that Nexus are 9 eliminations away from hitting the century. So that we can say with certainty. Everything else, It's going to be a little bit tough, but not exactly 100% impossible.
And actually, if you're Nexus, you want to be careful about Big Baby that could overtake your spot because they've had a insane comeback. Look at their placement points in particular, 41. That's massive. They're onto the second page. I think that if you're any of these teams, you would like to have a little bit of a dash at the end to maybe be on the first page. You know, top 8, that would be cool. You got a little bit of an increase in prize pool. Of course, you know you want to be above top 13, and that's where you start to get some extra money for extra placement you get. So we'll see if Epsilon Axe can maybe try and achieve that for the remaining match of the day and this entire tournament. But I'm hearing the game is live, DK, so we're going to be almost ready to dive right into the last game. And it's back to the grassy pastures, man. So Eagle Esports, again, so consistent on this map. We'll see if they can hold down their throne in this final game.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, Eagles clutch up would be amazing here. Exactly like what they did in day number 1. Where we saw them securing those 2 final winner chicken dinners of the day. Whether or not we're going to have the same kind of result come through here, not quite sure, but it could be worth the effort, worth the attempt, worth the push. But still, quite a bit of movement, right? As we know, the team's now going to be playing for how big of a share they get of this prize pool. So there's definitely still quite a bit of an opportunity available for essentially Epsilon Axe, Exotic Alliance, T-Pairs, as well as the players then from Script Zone. But they're going to hope that the stars aligned for them right here on the final wrangle.
I'd like to see ourselves a little Script Zone presence in our last game. I think that we've had some fun moments with the guys. Bunny too, after that first day has fallen off a little bit. It seems they're still able to get themselves some podium finishes like they've been able to do in these last 2 games, but I would like to see those big, really dominant matches that haven't been too present since that first day of play. Though, Northern Plain Path, these teams are going to have to make that one work out. If we have a Southern Phase 1 circle, I will be a little bit sad for these guys. But some Northcat Island finish, yeah, I wouldn't hate it. But no, it's going to be pretty central, over to the eastern edge of the map. So a lot of nice positions to play for these teams. We'd have quite a few of these circles too throughout the last chance and grand final. So these teams should be pretty much aware of how this works out. But I'm looking at Lipovka and also at Severny DK. We have 2 hot drops happening.
Yeah, team's definitely going to be looking to, well, play the last bit of aggression that they can find here. But it's good to see T-Pairs. Ooh, just locking down the position onto Iraj there. Iraj, though, are going to have a pretty tough time to get themselves patched up, especially being the early stage. But who knows? Maybe there are meds over on that end. But I like how both teams are occupying opposite sides of this road.
Yeah, usually that's how you want to start it up. You want to at least get the loot done, and then as you try and continue that fight, you can continue to cross over the road. Though in Mansion too, we got ourselves a fight. It's going to be Vengeance that we saw. There's a lot of Vengeance fans in the chat, but unfortunately, you guys, this is not going to be the start Vengeance have been looking for, as they already looked themselves to confirm that first elimination. But Vengeance has got multiple angles, DK, so that could be a little bit of a surprise. They're going to be throwing a spanner in the works, but Skip Zone, as they get the res, are ready to take on this fight as a 4v3.
Well, let's see whether or not they can get it. They've got a nice bit of positioning here. We got Jetor with... I like that off-angle position coming through there from Jetor. So maybe that could be a good response over towards Bozanak. But Bunny, they're going to be moving up into heaven. So there's a lot of pressure now starting to build into the area here. So however it goes up in Mansion, I hope that they are relatively swift about it, because if, again, they make too much noise, Bunny could also come through looking to inspect and potentially come through with a bit of a third-party play.
And you know I'm always going to be happy, DK, about a team going early on for Heaven, especially in a circle like this. It's going to be great for the information gain, and it's pretty central, actually, for the circle side. Though, here you go. Andres with the AC Vow. It's a nice initial spray, but now Linus with that nade in hand. That should be a pretty straightforward knock there. Right behind that window. Easy connection. And that's the main issue. Sure, Vengeance has got himself multiple off angles, but that allows Skip Zone, really, DK, to push these players as a solo, and he's going to pan him to death. He's done. He's dusted. He's sent back to the lobby. That was the last game we were going to see from Andres. Rip in peace. Rip in peace.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, in peace.
Yeah, the banishment has been dealt. So now it is on to the rest of the team, right? Bozanak and Marin have to try and find some kind of response. But even if they are able to succeed here against the Script Zone, I think it is going to be heavily impacting on their performance throughout the remainder of this game, because only sitting with a 2-piece with so much at stake, I mean, it's going to be a really tough one in for Vengeance.
It really is, but I kind of respect what's been happening for these two teams on the hot drop, because at the start of a tournament, in the middle of a tournament, I don't like it. I mean, I think I've made that point very, very clear. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. But at the end of a tournament where you don't have a lot of space, a lot of time to make those big comebacks, you know that, okay, we know we're not going to do that great in this tournament. How about we just try and get a massive elimination chicken dinner? Let's just start fragging out from the get-go. And then that would be a good opportunity to get some extra money on the board. But unfortunately, didn't quite go the way the Vengeance want, but I do appreciate that kind of mindset, if that is actually what they were going for. Though, now Skip Zone still regrouping and looking to push those two players on the southern edge. And you were talking earlier, DK, about that split across the road. TPS have crossed over, looking to finish that fight against Exotic Alliance.
Well, now push comes to shove. As you can see, Mori is going to get dropped not only from the roof, but also down onto their knees. The follow-through is there. What a play from Book. That is essentially, well, pretty much half the team of Exotic Alliance getting taken on down. Now it's up to Raj and Kura to see if they can fend off. But Caster, as of course, then Lazy X, going to be looking to dodge a few flames before following through with a push.
Kurapika, this is a good angle behind that wall, but they hear it. TPS are aware they are going to be playing in the walls, inside the buildings of Exotic Alliance. It's only Raj MVP and Kurapika will be able to stand their ground. You got to be careful. You got to heal it up there. Caster to get himself another one onto Exotic Alliance. There's only Raj MVP here with the AC Val and the PP Bison. But man, the PP Bison rush is real, and that's going to be the end of the adventure. And TPS, a little bit of BM here in that fight, it seems, and they are going to get themselves those 4 easy eliminations and all of that loot in Saverni to boot.
Yep. Good run. They've got quite a bit of loot now to, well, utilize and make much use of. But now comes the interesting part, especially looking up onto a team like TPS, right? How will they look to get themselves situated, moving a little bit further down in towards this coming phase? Speaking of moving down, there's going to be the 4 Romanian boys also now looking to move down onto Epsilon X. He's still holding on to the 3-piece, but it does seem like Sharp has been quite isolated from the rest of the team.
Seems like that's going to be, in fact, the case. Epsilon always sometimes getting involved in these early game fights is a very unfortunate, DK, that we see this happening, and they lose already a player to the hands of 4 Romanian boys. But here you go with the AKM, baits him out with that little quick run around the corner. 4 Romanian boys, now you're in the blue zone too. What's the game plan? Do you fully commit? Do you leave? They seem like they're going to be committing. They're going to be pushing onto Sharp of Epsilon Axe. Shaw gets 1 knock. Can't quite follow it up with a second. And they're going to also punch it. A lot of BM this Ratchet. Just there you go. Just pan to death. And that's going to be Epsilon Axe down to 2 players.
Yeah, it is what it is. And speaking about what it is also going to be Rush now looking to get their hands on a bit of that third-party action. Get wrecked now, getting the welcoming gift all prepped and ready to go on through. I think ideally here for Rush, maybe a little bit of focus back on towards the zone as opposed to pushing on forward could be a good strategy, but so far it has been Shroom to get the hits over into Get Wrecked. Now 4 Romanian boys left with 2 players trying to make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, it's the rush early game fight. You know, I at this point I'm just not surprised anymore. They're going to be taking this. Though the blue is still going to be moving away, and phase 2s are going to pop pretty soon. So you've got to keep that in mind for these guys. Nice level of spray, but a lot of those bullets connect, but it's not going to be able to result in a knock onto Reikage. Can he throw that nade behind the building? I was about to say that could be good, and he connects it. Sarah, what a play, actually. His nade is going to be the one to connect. Now Rush should be able to get that res onto Reikage at the end of the day. It's just phase 2. But that's a hard shift on Yasnaya Polyana, DK. Oof, this is going to be forcing a lot of teams to go for an easy and quick pivot if they want to be able to get to the city.
Yeah, but you got to love it though. This is going to be quite the carnage-laden rotation coming through for a lot of teams. Rush still going to try and pick up the last few eliminations while at the same time trying to bring Raikage back into the fight. Rush, they definitely got to watch the distance. They got to watch the zone as well as those HP bars. And I mean, they're over 2 kilometers away from zone. That is going to be a hefty play that they're going to have to make next.
Yeah, it's going to take them a while. First, you have to wrap up that fight. Then you have to go for the rotate. I can't even see any cars right now. I think Rush had cars to be able to get to this place in the first place. But they might get damaged as a result of this engagement. Though we are seeing on the map here, as we said, the circle did shift on Yasnaya Polyana. A lot of teams are going there. I'm already loving Team Alpi's position. It gives them a lot of information on teams going through the fields. They can easily transition away if they need and protect cars in that position behind the walls. So yeah, Team Alpi seem like are very proficient at getting these positions, and Rush are also going to be looking to leave, which I like that. You still have 4 players. Rush saying no to a fight, DK? Am I dreaming? Woo!
They're trying to take a more strategic approach, right? Because they know trying to follow up that fight and still having to get yourself situated in zone, that is going to be a pretty tall ask. So, yeah, I think this is a very, very worthwhile decision being made coming through from the side of Raj. Of course, we did see Mumia also rotating up ahead as well, so they could be a bit of a gatekeep potentially coming through from the side of Mumia once Raj starts creeping up in towards the zone. But for the meanwhile, it is going to be Buddy now just looking to secure themselves at least a bit of a southern positioning up in towards Yasnaya. And again, it opens up the opportunities, especially onto a team like T-Pairs.
And of course, always in a city finish like, well, it's not a city finish yet, okay? It's just in a central position. Chances are it might not finish in the city itself, which is why, and this is something that you could apply in your own games, everyone at home that you're watching this, always play the outskirts of the city. Don't go just quickly to the center, because if you do so, you're pretty much locking yourself in a position where teams are going to play the edge, and then leaving the city becomes such a tough task at hand. So I do like what we've seen from some of the teams. I already mentioned Team Alpi. I like what we've seen from Bunny Esports also. I'm just hoping we're not going to see anyone go for that early commitment, because then, I mean, like Vengeance, but they got 2 players, so I can't really fault them too much, DK. They only got 2 players. They want to salvage this game as much as possible. They want to go in a spot where they're hoping not too many teams are going to commit early.
Yeah, I think that would be the wise decision to try and take at this, or make it rather at this point. We also get a little bit of that tension building towards the southern side between BRX and potentially maybe God's Ultimate. Same thing could be said over on towards the east with Nexus. We did see them actually holding off of that rotation, not looking to move up all too quickly, but I think it served them quite well, seeing that the zone has now shifted just a little bit more towards the eastern side of Yasnaya.
Yeah, I'm going to look at already some compounds. Heaven was really strong earlier, but it was swapped around. Now it's BRX that are going to be the Kings of Heaven. As they're going to be able to get all that super valuable information from that spot, and they can easily defend cars also. I do wonder, are we going to see God's Ultimate maybe go for a crash onto Heaven from their location? That's maybe an option that I would keep in mind, I would think about. As Nexus are caught with their pants down by Eagle Esports. Not sure Doran can make it out. He does take a severe beating, and they do jump on down. But as I thought, Doran taking the bullet to the head and is going to be flushed away by Striker.
That is a very unfortunate play for Nexus, but Eagles now going to be looking to apply even more pressure as they come in with a little bit of a chase.
They're chasing them.
They can catch up.
I mean,
yeah, all the way out of zone.
Do they know it's Nexus? That's my thought process, because it's the only team that could technically compete. If they know this is Nexus, okay, kill them! Eliminate them right now!
Well, Radox is going to welcome a bit of an elimination here as well. You can see Nexus looking to pack in a little bit of heat. Both teams now sitting with 1 under their belt. But how's this going to finish off, right? Will we see Eagles maybe get the jump in on Nexus? Because if they do, this is their ticket secured. But Nexus, they are still going to try and pack all the heat that they can find, as they know Eagles coming in after them aggressively, now finding themselves all the way out in the blue.
I mean, to be honest, for Eagles, they don't even care if they lose this fight, I think. They just want to wound Nexus. They just want to eliminate as many players as possible. They just want to slow down their rotation into the circle. Because by doing so, you are taking away their chance of getting that big, what was it, 24 elimination chicken dinner you mentioned earlier, DK? Look, he might just get himself that knock onto Kapahala. That's it. I think this is the decisive fight that's just been taken by Yuxi. He does get knocked eventually, but even then, it's going to take them so much time. They're not going to have time to scout after moving in circle. I think our champions, after this fight, have just been decided.
Yeah, it feels like Eagles are just peeling back at the side of Nexus there. So, yeah, definitely a really strong approach being applied by the side of Eagles. Speaking about strong, Big Baby also going to be looking to finish strong in this game. As you know, they are trading with a considerable amount of points behind that pole position. I don't think they are going to be locking their eyes on that. But as you said, you know, in the pre-game, there is a big opportunity here for Big Baby to maybe even potentially overtake Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, this is great for them. They are also seeing the Nexus are getting involved in this fight. So look at that. They even eliminate Eagles. So Eagles, they only got, I think there was one elimination this game. Yeah, actually it just says it, if I was looking, it just says right there, one elimination, no placement points. So now technically Nexus would need a 25 elimination chicken dinner, which now losing Kapahala, one of the OG players of this team, he's just not going to be able to bring the heat for his teammates anymore. So that's going to be it. Rush secures himself that one. And we'll be looking for a bit of a further confirm onto Nexus if they can get that knock, but the final player of Nexus will be moving away in the distance.
Oh, it's going to be very, very tough. XR, Redox, as we know, two very capable players. But, Boca, yeah, is going to be ending the hopes here for XR. And now it's down to only one. Can Nexus get what they need? I mean, for Redox, now essentially coming through with 20 eliminations in the remainder of this match, I think that is quite a big ask.
Oh, it's Redox, you know. He can do it. He can do it, it's fine. Though when EXO died, you sounded so disappointed, like, oh, disgusting. How dare...
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
We never die in our games. How dare they die in PUBG Mobile? How, that's, can't do that. Illegal. Illegal business happening here. But Big Baby, as you said, a team that could contest and snatch away a spot from Nexus. Nexus could be pushed down a position or two, depending on who is able to crawl their way into a top 5, maybe a podium, maybe even a chicken dinner position. That would be massive for Big Baby. That would be what they'd love to look for. Nice little position in the car. Look at that. It's looking so comfy. Nice dashboard. It's so clean. In the Dodge. Oh my god. I love it.
But, you know, realistically, looking at it, both Big Baby and Bunny, both of them can look to play the upset onto the side of Nexus. Because, I mean, Big Baby and Bunny, there was only 2 points separating the two of them. And then there was 14-point difference between Big Baby and where Nexus was situated on the standings. So it is all going to boil down to just the exact approach of Bunny and Big Baby coming through here. But Bunny, we see them situated on the outskirts of Yasnaya, so there is an opportunity for even more eliminations to come their way, while Big Baby are taking a slightly different approach, right? They want to try and keep themselves out of reach for as long as they possibly can.
It's really tough, though, because there are many angles taken by BRX on Heaven. Even though Heaven is not going to be in play, I think that the best approach for Big Baby is just wait things out, wait for BRX to be on the move, and maybe rotate southeast. I think that would be a good option for them to go for, but right now they understood that it's too early to go for that pivot, because otherwise they're going to be severely punished by BRX. Here you go, on the move once more. Great spray down from Sarah, gets a little more damage done on the cars, but it seemed like their breach is going to happen, DK. Big Baby looking to bring the heat over to 4 remaining boys.
Oh, come on. Now it's up to Royal and Sarah. Down goes Royal. Sarah, the last one left. Ooh. Oh, they're going to be able to maybe poke, as we do see that MG3 coming up, but it is going to be the DBS from Marabo to end the run here for the 4 remaining boys.
That was such a quick breach. What? Blink and you missed it. What was that? And even with the MG3 push, I mean, that's, of course, one of the best weapons to use up alongside the DBS to just get in their face and obliterate them. So great fight against 4 remaining boys. They weren't even given a chance to fight back. Though this next circle is going to be very telling. Is it going to be some slopes play towards BRX? Is it going to be a field finish towards the southwest? Or is it going to be a city finish in Yasnaya Polyana? And it seems like the city finish might be coming into the equation. As Big Bunny here. Oh, not Big Bunny. It was Big Baby. Got the bunnies. Okay, it's an easy mix-up to make. They're going to be in the hot seat of this match.
I don't know if I approve of the hot seat, but you know, it's sometimes quite inevitable. In the meanwhile, BRX gonna be looking for a bit of a play onto the side of God's ultimate, and who knows, even maybe the side of T-Pes. Well, aside from that though, Big Baby slowly approaching. And I like how steady that encroachment is, right? They're not going to be taking a full-on send, as we just saw come through here from God's ultimate. Instead, they're going to be taking their sweet time just to make 100% sure they don't get taken on down.
And this is why I was calling it the hot seat, DK, because everyone wants to get that chair. It's so comfy. It's heated up. It's got the top-notch technology. It's even got a massage part in the back of the chair, so everyone wants to get in this position. It's so comfy. It's so great. But unfortunately, the breach is not going to be quite as successful for the initial breach of God's ultimate. Big Baby still going to be encroaching over to the northeast. And so far, I gotta say, Big Baby's been having a smooth transition. Even though they couldn't win that fight against BRX, they're like, okay, we can't win that fight. Let's look for another better option. Let's fight for remaining boys. And from there on out, we could reach technically the outer skirts of Yasnaya Polyana. And with only Redox being in that position, that should be an even easier transition for Big Baby next move.
Yeah, there could be a very big possibility for that to come to fruition. But now, Big Baby, they could be feeling the heat here. Redox, the solo for, of course, Nexus. Could look to play the upset. If that vehicle goes pop, that could be quite a bit of trouble then spelled there for Big Baby.
I want to see a Bunny Esports versus Big Baby fight now. I want to call it the Big Bunny fight. That's the official name. Gonna remember it.
Yeah.
For as long as possible. But BRX also, I mean, look at the amount of control they're exuding on the south side of this map, DK. They are just chasing down everyone. Sure, it's not resulting really in any eliminations yet, but they are really so controlling and oppressive in their spot. So I like what we see. But Redox hitting finally the 600 damage mark. He's up to 4 eliminations. Who knows? 20 elims as a solo? Huh, maybe.
It's not impossible. It is, however, exceptionally challenging. So, Redox definitely up for the challenge. But, yeah, it's not going to be an easy one. Looking at the number of players that we have available, it definitely could happen. Seeing that there is 24 other players contesting Redox. But a 1v24, that is also still a pretty tough odd to try and play for.
Going to be the case, though. BRX can still... they're controlling such a massive portion of this circle. Is very impressive. They've been able to do so. Clearing the teams from that southern compound in the fields too was a very crucial play they had to execute. So I have a lot of contenders at the top. This circle shift is going to be very important for these guys, DK. Is going to go back to the city. And it does. We are going to have a Yasnaya Polyana urban finish to wrap up the entirety of these grand finals of PMCO 2023 Europe. I'm super hyped here, but Bunny, again, might be able to slow down that rotation of BRX that are going to have to breach the south of the city.
Yep, the pressure is on. The pressure is on indeed. BRX might have a very tough run. Big Baby gonna have to make that play, but there we can see BRX, they are gonna be pushing straight on through now, full setting it up to alongside Big Bunny. The play is about to be revealed. Twist receive a little bit of that love, a little bit of that explosive love, but Recent also not just fire off a few warning hits.
Just got to be careful in these positions. There's so many angles that are going to be treacherous for you. Merciless is going to join up the teams. Looking at Alpi, though, they could look to steal away those buildings that have been left vacant by Big Bunny. Bunny! Oh, my... Hey, not my fault, okay? It's 2 names, okay? I'll get there. As Bunny will be able to slowly regroup, but unfortunately, in the process, do lose a play. It's still an 8 elimination game from Bunny Esports, DK, so that is going to allow them to rank up just a tad higher on the rankings and get even closer to overtaking Nexus in this match.
Yeah, and I mean, especially looking at Big Bunny compared to... Oh, Big Bunny now.
You done it! I got it.
Yeah. Looking at the elimination comparison between Big Baby and Bunny Esports, Bunny definitely being the more aggressive team, going through with their 57 eliminations before this match. So now adding 8 to that does push them all the way over on towards, I believe, what, 65, something in that ballpark, maybe 64. My math, don't judge me on the math just yet. But in the meanwhile, it is custom math, so you got to take it with a whole bag of salt. In the meanwhile, it is going to be still a very contentious play being had all throughout the zone.
Yeah, we need like a professional mathematician on these shows, just a Harvard student. Just bring him over. He does all the math, and we're like, yes, we trust it because it comes from a reliable source of information. And then you have me that says it's probably wrong. Let's not follow. Let's not listen to that Max guy. He's just saying a bunch of nonsense. But Redox, though, I mean, hey, to be honest, respect he's been able to survive this long.
Yeah.
But that rooftop is going to get absolutely blasted to smithereens. And Big Baby, I mean, at least Big Baby know players there. They're just thinking, okay, this is a very important match for us. We want to overtake a top 2 spot. How do we make that transition without taking too big a risk is definitely what's going to be on their mind.
well, at the end of the day, they're going to have to play for a bit of that risk because, as we know, with risk comes some
Reward.
kind of reward.
Yeah.
What that reward is, we don't know. We'll find out soon. But I mean, the odds, they are stacked, I would say, in favor here of Big Baby against Nexus. But Redox definitely going to be looking to go down with a fight. So there is still a big opportunity. Now with the Zoran especially going to be shifting over towards the eastern side. BRX will be feeling a lot more than heat now getting brought through.
It was a great play to enter onto the eastern edge just across that road. So good entry point. Also cleared out a play of Bunny, so they just have a little bit more presence and an opportunity to oppress these teams thanks to that man advantage. So great stuff we've seen from BRX. Just still 0 eliminations, which is very weird after all the transitions and control they had previously. But here you go, Bunny. Going to be getting involved with Mumia as the amount of space is being reduced, DK. These teams are going to have to take these fights head on. And Big Baby going to be able to cross on over. I would love to see what Doran has in his arsenal. Does he have any utility that could buy him a lot of precious time? He has 3 nades, 1 smoke, and 1 Molotov. That could do it. That could be enough to do a clutch as they go up these stairs.
Yeah, Dorian, aka Redox, as we can see right here, now is going to look to defend. Beautiful nade, though, as overlaid, ends the run, and that is it. Nexus gets sent away with 4.
Hey, no, Dorian, Redox, yeah, same thing. It's both really good players. But Bunny Esports do have a bit of an... Oh, actually, a bit scary there. Big Bunny from a distance will be taking those shots on Merciless. You can't use that rooftop fully now, unfortunately. They are now inside the building. Alpi sure lose a player, but that's going to put even more pressure down on the backs of Bunny Esport. As Bego74 will be taking that fight in a 1v2, while Merciless is going to be jumping down off that roof.
Ooh, come on, Marin. Marin gonna try and just hold on. Oh, but there we go. Yeah, beautiful timing there from Moxito as they do end the run for vengeance. Now, Alpi trying to clear up the edge. They are going toe-to-toe with Bunny. Merciless still going to be holding nice and steady, but Moxito could definitely play quite a bit of an upset here.
Yeah, it really could be. Nice initial fight against Merciless, but oh, he has the nade in hand. He could have got that confirmed. That's so unfortunate for Moxito. Actually, that would have been a great opening to allow Sandrick and Bego to make that cross initially. But a lot of utility is going to be used once more. Still have 5 nades in hand that could be proven so impactful, but Ninfex gets that opening nade onto Syndrex, and you just know here, they can't go for that res anymore. Another nade from Ninfex. He's just clutching it out against Team Alpi. Now Moxito is left stranded as a solo, trying to leapfrog this fight. Doesn't want to take it, but the backstab of Merciless comes through, and 11 eliminations. The hot seat of Bunny here, GK, has been paying dividends.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault the approaches coming through from Bunny. Now, it is down to BRX, Bunny, Big Baby. Well, a lot of Bs coming through on that one, as well as Mumia. And then, of course, we still have Epsilon Axe in play. But let's see what the Triple B can bring into this last final stretch of the entire PMCO EU.
The Big Bunny BRX baby. It's time. Yeah, this one is going to be wrapping up. Epsilon, Axto, Tornado still in place, so there's still a little bit of hope, but having to cross that roadside, I don't think any amount of smokes is going to make it easy to escape the wrath of Big Baby. They get the opening knot. Tornado makes it to the second smoke, but unfortunately, with that gap in the middle, you show your position, and it is going to be the end of the road for Epsilon Axe in this PMCO. Good little bit of a redemption towards the end, but it is not going to be enough to be at the tippy top of the rankings. Though, Mumia able to survive that road cross, but Bunny now are going to be the ones to have to initiate a breach and go towards BRX.
Well, let's see, can they hop to it? As they already started with a bit of approach, now up onto Mumia. Higginson's getting taken right on down. It's now up to the final player. Oh, Merciless going through with yet another approach, but Mumia gonna be looking to hold steady. Still have a little bit of hope coming in here. Bluzard, though, is gonna come nipping at the heels. And look at the sprays. Baban, though, just narrowly not getting that hit.
Yeah, it's going to be BRX actually to secure themselves that one. It's going to be a low elimination chicken dinner for BRX if they do go the entire way. But now Big Baby, they're building not in play anymore. It's going to be stage 9. It's going to go right in the center of the circle. So Big Baby know they need to take this game in their hands. They need to take full control of this lobby if they want to go for an oppressive chicken dinner. And And now they start to chuck all of that utility across the road. BRX struggling to survive and dodge that utility, while Bunny may be looking for a third-party opportunity.
Well, we've asked for a triple B play. This is going to be exactly that. Touch now just trying to get well ahead of the whole situation. But Ozzy is going to try and bring his teammates back into the fight. Unfortunately, that is not going to pan out. Now, Nymphex coming through with a beautiful molly deployment. But there we have it.
It's the blue.
It is going to be absolutely nasty on down. And Baby full on sending it. Bunny now having to try and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, Big Baby looking to overtake the second spot of the rankings, and they do it in style, clearing the eastern edge of Yasnaya Polyana, and will be securing themselves the final chicken dinner of PMCO Europe 2023 Grand Finals. What a match to wrap it up on here, DK. But the rankings now with a chicken dinner like this are going to be a little bit more uncertain.
I mean, Big Baby, Bunny, BRX. Right, who would have known who it would be? Of course, Bunny. They reign supreme as they just played an absolutely devastatingly brutal game here. But again, right back to the zone. It has thrown quite a few spanners in the works for a few teams.
Yeah, and I think that BRX, sure, don't get themselves that chicken dinner, but they've been dealing really well with those circle shifts. Not being too overly aggressive. I mean, actually, not aggressive at all, almost. They got themselves 0 eliminations when they reach Yasnaya Polyana, but they do take some smart moves, step after step after step. But though this breach of Big Baby, DK, onto 4 Romanian boys, it was so quick. Again, you blinked and you missed it. That was a breach that allowed them to make into Yasnaya and then secure themselves the whole game.
Well, the whole game indeed has been brought in as Big Baby step up. They reign supreme, as we know. They were chasing the overall standings to see if they can contest with the side of Nexus. And of course, the answer is yes, they have a 3-point lead over Nexus Gaming.
Congratulations to Big Baby to overtake Nexus at the end. But Eagle Esports, DK, are going to be crowned our champions of PMCO Europe 2023 Grand Finals. Congratulations to them. This team has a lot of potential for the future, and I'm hyped to see what the future has in store for them. But that's it. That's going to be our podium. Eagle Esports, Big Baby, and Nexus Gaming. This is a lineup that I'm not going to lie, DK, I'm really, really happy about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal outcome that we've seen come in here. Bunny, as we can see, if we
Only
do
10
a quick
points.
little bit of math there, I mean, they've got points on board, right? The exact number, it's whatever. But as we take a look over on towards the second page here as well, I mean, Mumia, they brought quite a bit to the battlefield. Rush, a very surprising outcome based on how they were playing the last chance. One would have expected them to continue with that pacing, moving through into the grand finals. But as we saw, the difficulty came through with Rush rather, being able to replicate not only the aggression, but add on that strategic play alongside with it.
Yeah, Rush got a little bit crushed at the start, but as you said, I really like the strategic approach we've been able to witness. Not taking that fight in Northern George Pole, trying to actually get in the later stage. I just hope that they're going to be able to learn a lot from this last match and being able to build upon, I think, is a glimpse of hope for the future for Rush teams. So yeah, keep it up, boys. There's definitely a lot of potential there. And I think that even teams on the second page, DK, have shown some glimpses of hope, some glimpses of potential throughout this PMCO season. So no, don't be too harsh on yourself. If you had a little bit of a tougher time, you can just look back on this one and see as a great learning opportunity for these teams. But what an event, DK. Has been great from the last chance stage, heading into the grand finals. We've seen a lot of great storylines unfold, but Eagle Esports will be at the end the team to claim the trophy.
Well, speaking about claim the trophy, of course, well, give your share right down in the social media. You did see those tags up there as Max did the beautiful reveal.
Yeah, it's all gone now, but you get the point.
Exactly.
But no, DK, thank you so much for being me for the entirety of this PMCO. I want to give you an opportunity maybe to have a few final words that you would like to, bring up before we do wrap up this show.
I just gotta say, absolutely phenomenal PMCO coming through. Very, very satisfied with the sheer level of aggression that we've been able to see come through. But also, I gotta say, just the strategic approaches, right? How the teams were utilizing rotations, how they were making their breaches onto compounds, just reading the whole situation. I think it is absolutely phenomenal to see. And as you've said, right, there is going to be a lot of hope for these teams moving forward into the potential career in PUBG itself. So really looking forward to seeing how these teams are going to be looking to develop all these skills and where that could eventually look to take them. But yeah, very excited, and of course, big congratulations going out to Eagle. I think a very well-deserved victory that they've been able to establish here.
Yeah, I do have to echo your point, DK, that there's a lot of potential in this lobby that we just able to see play for these last 3 days in the grand finals. But, you know, if you liked PMCO, you had a fun time, don't forget, we still have some more PMCO action around the corner today. We're going to have the MEA grand finals day 3 unfolding just in a few hours time, and also the North America one. So if you want to stay tuned, you can go follow their own channels. I'm sure you're going to have a grand old time watching those. But DK, again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everyone at home for checking out this broadcast. Thank you to the production team also for allowing this show to happen in the first place. And we'll see you very soon for some PMGC action also to start in next week that you might want to catch up on. So we'll see you guys hopefully very soon.